Welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park inside the paddock location. It will be a busy and exciting spot to be tonight as we play host to the championships in the Ontario Sire Stakes. It is the Superfinals. All the Gold Division championships will be honored tonight with those 8 finals, $225,000 apiece, $1.8 million in totals. And the stars of the Ontario Sire Stakes program will be out in full force. Hello again, everybody. Trackside, Greg Blanchard, Robert Reed Jr. Wonderful to have you with us once again this evening for an exciting night. We wrap up OSS championship season. Let's talk weather, because at this time of year, we know in this part of the world we could get almost anything. It looked dicey earlier today, but so far so good.
Yeah, there's definitely an excitement in the air tonight, Greg, but also a chill. But it could be a lot worse. We'll stay warm here in our OSS jackets like we did last week for the grassroots finals.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, the real stars of the OSS are here tonight. And we've got all 4 of the 2-year-old divisional winners from last year back in action tonight with a chance to repeat at age 3. That's the subject of our poll question right off the top. We want to know which one of these 4, in your opinion, has the best chance to repeat tonight. Will it be Scarlet Hanover, Fashion Frenzy, Dashing Muscle, or Bulldog Hanover? All 4 appear to have a good opportunity. Which one do you think has the best chance? We'd love to hear from you as always. Plenty of ways to watch us tonight on our different social media platforms, and plenty of ways to comment and let us know what you think. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Ask us any questions, anything at all. We always love hearing from our viewers. And let's put that question to you, Robert. Of the 4, I think there's one that you're leaning to very heavily.
I've actually got 3 of them on top in the Horse Players Journal, but the one I'm leaning heavily to is Bulldog Hanover, because I think he rebounds in a big way tonight. And, you know, he was a big-time winner at 2 in the OSS Superfinal, won by 9 lengths on that occasion. I think he makes a statement again tonight.
All right, well, let's bring in the other member of our broadcast team tonight and ask him his opinion as well. Good evening to Tony Elliott.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Greg. I think it's going to be a fantastic night. It always is. It's always one of my favorite nights on the calendar. And back to your question, I think Bulldog Hanover is going to go back-to-back here. He was very dominant in his 2-year-old campaign and finishing up with a 50-2 score here in the Superfinal. It was kind of a similar night here. He threw down a big mile of 50-2, and I think he's going to come right back and do it again tonight.
Well, thank you, Tony. We'll be checking him throughout the evening. He has some interviews that he'll pre-tape for us, some live hits throughout the night. Going to be a lot of fun to have Tony and Robert and myself with you all evening long. We are looking forward to it. 9 races in total. We've got a really good overnight event in between our 8 championship finals. Let's show you now what is coming up this evening on the show and give you an idea of what the flavor of the night will look like. And as mentioned, we'll kick it off with 2-year-old filly Pacers, the first $225,000 championship. We'll have 4 Superfinals, that overnight event, and then we'll cap it off with 3-year-old filly Trotters in that 8th and final championship event of the night, way over in race number 10. So it's going to be a long night, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're definitely looking forward to it. Got a couple of social media contests on the go as well. Tonight we are giving away not 1 but 2 sets of autographed driver colors, being that it's Superfinal night, our final live broadcast of the season. So tonight, everyone who leaves a comment will be automatically entered for a chance to win a set of autographed silks from none other than this year's Pepsi North America Cup winner, Trevor Henry. We've also got 2018 Hamiltonian winner, Bob McClure, donating a set of his autographed colors as well. And we had a contest on social media for a wonderful OSS swag prize package that was running all week long, and we will announce the winner of that live on our broadcast later on this evening, so stay tuned for that. We'll have the winner of that wonderful prize pack coming up live. Getting a look at the horses and drivers getting set to go for the first of the night here. And I believe we've got a chance to take a look, or we'll bring up the leaderboard for this 2-year-old filly division, where there's a real standout coming in, and one that everybody fully expects to cap off what's been an incredible season.
Yeah, perfect through the OSS for Prohibition Legal, 250 points, and the closest one to her is actually her stablemate, who was a perfect 7 for 7 until they finally locked horns against each other. So I think Prohibition Legal, the dominant force in here, but you'd have to certainly give a look to her stablemate Silver Label as well.
All right, we're going to meet the field on post parade next, and then following that, we'll have a look at one of the highlight races of the season for Prohibition Legal coming up as well. As we get a look at the horses and drivers heading out, there's Scott Zeron on number 8 Balance. He's one of the drivers in town tonight, of course, an Ontario native, now plies his trade primarily in New Jersey, but he's home tonight with a number of live drives in these Superfinal contests. Leading off the post parade will be Love That Smile, number 1. Louis-Philippe Roy will team up here with trainer Renee Barassa. This one, a daughter of sports writer, and has had a very good campaign, $134,000 banked, a sibling to a trio of horses that have earned $150,000 or more and following in their footsteps.
Number 2, Big Better Hanover for John Pentland and Bob McClure. Still a maiden through 9 starts, but over $95,000 made, and one that can certainly land underneath.
Big night potentially for trainer Nick Colucci and the Miller Farms. They've got 2 starters in this contest, including Silver Label. She's 6 for 7 coming in.
Number 4 is Fade Out for Doug McNair and Greg McNair. Has a win in the Turtle Cam Nation and a OSS Gold win, over $147,000 made.
I Love On Gate, number 5 in the field. It'll be Trevor Henry teaming up here with trainer Dr. Ian Moore.
Number 6, Feel It In Your Hands for Gaetan Hebert and Jody Jameson. Still a maiden through 11 starts. A bit of an outsider.
Prohibition Legal, 7 for 8 on the season. Her only blemish coming in the She's a Great Lady final. $451,000 bank for her connections. James McDonald is back on board.
Number 8 is Balance. Scott Zero on board for Nancy Tactor and Diamond Creek Racing. 1 win. That came in the When You Wish Upon a Star. Dominant victory in there. Outside post to work for him.
That is your field of 8 to kick things off tonight. 2-year-old filly pacers. We talked about Nick Colucci. We talked about the Miller Farms potentially set up for a big night. That also includes driver James McDonald. Earlier tonight, he caught up with Tony Elliott.
All right, I am joined here by James McDonald. James, you got a pretty strong lineup here tonight. 8 drives in all of the Superfinals, $1.8 million in purse on the line. It's crazy to look back over the last year for you, getting your first OSS Superfinal here last year. You're hopefully going to change that tonight, obviously, but how's the last year been for you?
Oh, it's been terrific. Maybe that was kind of the start of it last year, getting the OSS Superfinal monkey off my back with Dashing Muscle, but like you said, I have a good-looking lineup tonight, and hopefully I can add to my totals.
Yeah, you kick it off with a bang here with Prohibition Legal and race number 2, the first OSS Superfinal of the night. She's been quite the filly this year, and obviously it's been a great drive for you. What's it been like to drive her throughout the season?
She's just a professional, like I've said time and time again. She just does what you ask her, and she proved last week, she doesn't need the best trip, or I guess she proved it in the Fan Hanover when she gave Nikki Hill a good run, but last week she was first up on another undefeated filly of Nick's, Silver Label, and she's just a powerhouse. So hopefully I can navigate a nice trip and get her to the winner's circle.
Yeah, and you certainly had a tough choice there between Silver Label and Prohibition Legal. You kind of touched base on that with in the interview last week after winning that last gold event of the year. It certainly was a tough choice, but you got to be happy with your choice so far.
Yeah, I mean, I was just always I was so high on both of them all along, and then just the way Prohibition raced in the She's a Great Lady, I was just over the moon with her effort, so I had to stick with her. I couldn't duck off her after that, and she proved me right last week, and hopefully she can do it one more time this year.
Yeah, and we can move over to race number 3 with your second basic big drive of the night. Obviously, you got some other strong drives throughout, but Derek Castle's been a horse that you picked up early on the season. Bob McClure had to choose off for the termination, but you certainly jumped in the driver's seat there, and it's been all systems go from there, banking quite a bit of money there, and obviously the last gold event of the year, she seems like she's just getting stronger and stronger. Yeah,
I mean, last week in the interview I'd said I thought that was maybe her best effort all year, and she just moved to the lead, and she's always been real lazy, and you had to kind of pick at her, and last week she was just right in the muscle the whole way. As soon as she heard one coming, she was just gone on her own. So she's a great filly. I was very lucky to pick her up, and I spoke to the job Bob and Mark did educating her early on, and that's a big part of her success late in the year, and hopefully we can finish that one off with a W and finish it off the way she should.
Yeah, you certainly have a strong lineup tonight. We wish you luck, and thanks a lot for joining us.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you to Tony and driver James McDonald. And yes, he will look to try and start a potentially big night right here with heavy favorite Prohibition Legal, who will be a prohibitive favorite, no doubt. Want to welcome in many of our viewers tuning in tonight from far and wide this evening. We've got James Pearson from Scotland, William Dornoff from Tasmania, Australia. How about that? JS Farms are tuning in from Hanover, Ontario, cheering, of course, for I'm Extra Special. And our good buddy Dave Landry, one of the best photographers in the business, and tuning in from his home tonight in Owen Sound. Great to have all of you watching, and I'm sure all anticipating watching these stars put on a show tonight, and everybody expects Prohibition Legal to do that here in race number 2. What's it going to take to get her beat tonight?
I don't know what it's going to take, Greg. I mean, it would take a real difficult trip, but she's already proven she can do that. I mean, she went first over against Nikki Hill, actually forged past that one in the She's a Great Lady before that rival came back to win. So I think Prohibition Legal, might be in a league of her own in here, and the closest one really looks like her stablemate Silver Label, who, it definitely would have been a difficult choice for James McDonald, but I agree with the one he stuck with, that's for sure. But I would say Silver Label is the only one that really has a chance in here. But a couple other ones like Love That Smile and Balance. I mean, if something ever does happen where that favorite has to face adversity, they might be ones that can maybe make some noise.
Yeah, going into that last race, I was interested to see how Silver Label was going to stack up. She was undefeated. She had looked ultra impressive, and you were wondering, but really was no match on that particular day. We were going to show a replay. I don't think we have time right now, but we were going to show Prohibition Legal's only loss, because despite it being a loss, it might have been her best effort of the season when you consider the horse that beat her on that occasion and the type of trip and the type of battle that she took to the great Nikki Hill in the final half of that race.
Yeah, it was outstanding effort, and I agree. I think it was her best effort of the entire season, and it's the only loss on the card, which is kind of wild to think, but she was head and shoulders the best, the best of the rest. So, Nikki Hill got the better of her. I thought maybe Prohibition Legal might get past that one in the lane. It didn't end up happening, but I think she's going to be a dominant force in here. 1-5 on the board right now. It makes sense, and it's one really where in a multi-leg wager, I'd probably single her, and I'd probably single her on top of in exotics.
And Prohibition Legal, not surprising to see her realize this type of potential. The mare Catch a Wish, Jenna's Beach Boy mare that's done nothing but produce. This is the 6th foal that she's produced to earn over $200,000. And Prohibition Legal, $450,000, looking to add another 112 or so tonight to that already impressive bankroll. We are just about set to go, getting ready to kick things off here on OSS Superfinal night. It's on the chilly side, but other than that, we certainly can't complain for mid-October in Ontario. Moving up to the gate here, heavily favored. Is it as simple as the Miller Gallucci exactor here in the first?
I think so. I mean, you're not going to get much value with that, though, and I'm someone who usually looks to try to get a little bit of value. So for me, I'd probably look for a trifecta or a super, Greg.
All right, starting gate rolling. It's Ontario Sire Stakes Superfinal Championship night. $1.8 million on the line. And our first contest is now moving up behind the starting gate. The man who will call the action is upstairs, track announcer Ken Middleton.
Second place finish from 7 assignments on the year. What a year it's been. Talk about a 1-2 punch. Starting gate swings off the turn into the stretch. The first of 8 Ontario Sire Stakes Superfinals. 2-year-old pacing fillies on their way. They're off and pacing. A slow start for 6. Feel it in your hands. A great start for I Love On Gate. She'll motor to the frontier for Henry. In behind her second is Silver Label now. And Filion will not commit to the rail. He's going to power on by. Their third outside is Prohibition Legal. She too is up close early now. They drive their way into the turn. Early lead for I Love On Gate. Though Silver Label is going to sweep on by. Prohibition Legal studies them up from back into third. A gap of 2 to Love That Smile fourth. Fifth inside Big Better Hanover sixth and off the speed is Balance. Then further back, seventh, Fade Out. The trailer eighth is Feel It In Your Hands, quarter speed of 27 1/5. Into the backstretch. Silver Label up front leads the way. Second is I Love On Gate. You knew it was coming. McDonald is right line, Prohibition Legal, and she's on the march right now. And right to the front she goes. So the Galucci trainees are 1-2 going to the half. Prohibition Legal, top of the tote board, fronts them. Back into second, Silver Label. Right there, third is I Love On Gate, then Love That Smile. Trapped in, Big Better Hanover. Balance is underway. Picking up the cover, Fade Out, and the trailer still Feel It In Your Hands. 56 and 2 the first half. Tempo very sensible. So Prohibition Legal leads by 2 lengths into the final turn. Silver Label second, first over third, and driving Balance. In at the rail, it's I Love On Gate fourth with them. Then on cover, Fade Out airs fifth, sixth inside tracks, Love That Smile. Seventh and overland is Feel It In Your Hands. Trailing at the rail is Big Better Hanover. As they march their way to 3/4, they are chasing Prohibition Legal. As she's on top by 2. Silver Label second, Balance third. 3/4 in 1:25 and 1. That was at 28 and 4 third quarter. Coming into the stretch. And it's still Prohibition Legal on top by that 2-length margin. Silver Label in behind her from in second now. She'll tip out late, but she'll just hope that she can stay within shouting distance of Prohibition Legal. She's just a cut above the rest in this division this year. Prohibition Legal and McDonald to win the Superfinal, and they do it in 1:52 and 1, polishing them off with 27-second final quarter speed.
The result exactly as expected. Prohibition Legal. James McDonald makes no mistakes with the filly, handles her with supreme confidence, and had probably the best rival on her back the rest of the way when she made the quarter pole move, Robert. But she gave chase. She was game in defeat, but no match for Prohibition Legal. She is the definitive star in this division.
Oh, big time. And it's fitting, right? You go 5 for 5, throughout in the season in the OSS, and you want to see that one come out on top. And she certainly, proved with authority, I think, that she was the best in the division. But listen, Silver Label, what a season she's had. It's unfortunate that you've got one. I mean, luckily they're both owned by Villar Farms, but you've got one that's also as talented as she is, and she's got to settle for the runner-up spot in this race. But still a fantastic season for that filly, and I saw Balance and Love That Smile, giving chase to the end, but just not really in the same league as the two top finishers.
So there you have it, with 7 wins in the provincial program this season. Prohibition Legal, well over $500,000 in seasonal earnings. She is the poster girl for the OSS this year, if you will, and putting the finishing touches on a brilliant OSS campaign with that dominant victory again. So the dream season continues for the trio of George Miller, the owner, trainer Nick Galucci, driver James McDonald. They really can do no wrong, and here they are with the first of what may be more than one Superfinal victory tonight. There's a look at the connections coming back. We will take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll hear from those winning connections next.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with HPIBet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to HPIBet.com to join for free today.
It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown on Friday, October 29th and Saturday, October 30th. This year, the Breeders' Crown, presented by Liddfeld Cats Breeding Partnership, is at the Meadowlands Racetrack. This $6 million year-end series with 12 championship events takes place over 2 days. Friday night features the top 2-year-old trotters and pacers, post time at 6:20 p.m. Saturday afternoon has a post time of 12 noon with 8 championship events, including 4 divisions for the world's best open trotters and pacers. Details at playmeadowlands.com and breederscrown.com.
Our first Superfinal of the night goes to Prohibition Legal. Very close to an undefeated season this year. She has been perfect in the Ontario Sire Stakes program and caps off the season here with a win in the lucrative $225,000 final, getting the beautiful Ontario Sire Stakes blanket. Caroline Nicholson there, the caretaker, partner of Nick Galucci, the winning trainer. They will be busy tonight, and it looks like it's going to be a productive night from what we've seen so far.
Oh, for sure. And, some Prohibition Legal, just another monstrous effort. And, James McDonald, too. I mean, outside of even the connections of Colucci and Millar Farms, what a dream season it's been. And, kind of fitting as well that he gets the first victory of the night on this big card, because he's won so many of the big events here at Mohawk Park.
And from what we saw from a time perspective, 52-1. It's a pretty good effort considering that it is a cool, crisp fall evening here, but dry, as we said. There was a big threat of rain today. There's a look at George Millar. Good to see him on hand here, and it was well documented earlier this season. We did a story with George and the dramatic health scare that he had during the pandemic. Very seriously nearly cost him his life, and he was able to pull through that, and here he is enjoying the best year of his career as an owner.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, every time you turn around, they've got another youngster coming out that's would come out and make a great showing of themselves, and so many dominant horses too across the division. So really happy for them to have this kind of a season.
Let's take a look now at the very minuscule pari-mutuel details here in race number 2. Yeah, no shocking developments. No one going to be able to retire off of the winnings here, I don't think. But the pari-mutuel details, $2.40 is the win ticket return on Prohibition Legal. The Miller Gallucci exactor worth $3.60. You try and super combinations quite low here as well. Coming in, I would say many would have considered this the most probable winner of the night, or right up there, and understandably so. We see her capturing the hardware. And there's, again, George Miller, James McDonald, a happy group. There's the OSS trophy. And I believe we're going to hear from Winning Connections here in a moment. Monique Vague is over trackside and going to try and catch up to the connections. So we'll pop over there in just a moment. Anyone outside the top 2 that impressed you, Robert, and having a look back at especially the final half of the race where we saw a couple of horses close pretty well?
Yeah, Balance, was first over, quite a ways after Prohibition Legal cleared, and decent effort to, keep on for third. And I've always loved, Renee Barrasa's filly, loved that smile as well. So I was, happy that one was able to get a share of it, come up the inside for fourth. So I think it finished pretty formful, Greg.
All right, and it looks like George Miller is over in the winner's circle. I think we're going to perhaps hear from him in a moment. And we'll just get ready to head over there. Again, a wonderful story for George. We were able to visit his farm in Newmarket this year, and beautiful, beautiful facility and a great storyline. All right, we're going to throw over now and hear from the winning owner, George Miller.
Able to capture the super final, and both your fillies finishing 1-2.
Yeah, what a wonderful filly. I mean, she just hasn't done anything wrong all year. She's had a little bit of bad luck, with sickness, but other than that, she's just been kind of perfect. But she always seems to show up. I guess that's what, they tell me good racehorses do. And the nice thing is, I raced her granddam Little Black Book and her mother Catch a Wish, and now I'm racing her. And then I'm kind of looking forward to, in 3 or 4 years, maybe starting to train some of her babies. So it's nice. They got a home for life. So it's pretty exciting.
It's always great when it all comes full circle and you're able to.
It's nice to be down here with my wife and my daughter to get her picture taken. She just got here in the nick of time. Yeah.
Perfect timing. And we always, every time I see you, it seems like you bring your horses good luck. I know you're talking about Powertrain being the lucky horse every time you show up, but can't be any different with the likes of this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I was being here for, I was here for the She's a Great Lady when she finished second. So I'm 1 for 2, and, which is good.
We were talking a little bit last time about your partnership with Nick Gallucci. He's just having a fantastic season. His first OSS Superfinal victory and a win here tonight pushed him over the $1 million in terms of the OSS training mark. So he's having a fantastic season.
He deserves the credit. I mean, I've never seen a young man work so hard, and I feel bad for him this past week because I sent him down to Lexington a week ago to look at horses, and Nick's pretty picky on what he's looking at. So anyway, and he's been looking at horses this week, and then trying to take care of the ones that you're getting ready. And you know, I pinch myself because I got 5 in the Superfinals tonight. I mean, I'm happy if I get 1 in the grassroots final. And the ones that we had last week, he's already sold. So, you know, I'm saying slow down a little bit. Slow down.
And picky for good reason. I mean, it's obviously worked out for you guys.
No, it's worked out good. I think you're trying to figure it out so I actually do it so I make money and don't lose money. But I said that's not always the most important criteria. And, but yeah, Nick's done a great job. Absolutely awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And of course, I'll let you enjoy this victory. Beautiful for both your fillies to finish 1-2 in here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Once again, our first OSS Gold Superfinal for this 2-year-old pacing fillies goes to Prohibition Legal, now making it 8 for 9 throughout her career.
Great to hear from a very happy George Miller, understandably so. We talked about it. He's been at this a long time. He's put a lot of money into the game and has never had a season like this. It's really incredible. Yeah, they're racing for some money tonight. They're racing for some carrots. They're racing for some beautiful blankets as well. There is a lot on the line here this evening. You are watching live coverage of the Ontario Sire Stakes Superfinals here on COSA-TV. First of the 8 championships in the books, and Prohibition Legal delivers as expected. We turn our attention next to trotters. It is the Gold Superfinal coming up here for the 2-year-old filly trotters. And a big opportunity tonight for a young reinsman, Tyler Jones, son of longtime veteran trainer Dustin Jones. And he's enjoying a bit of a breakout season. He's got 2 drives tonight in the Superfinals for his dad. And earlier this week, we took our cameras out to the farm to find out more about how he's dealing with that newfound pressure.
Hi, I'm Tyler Jones. So obviously this is a very big night, not just for me, but everybody. So it's definitely a special moment that I'm very grateful for. I don't think I'm nervous, but I'm definitely very anxious to participate in such a great night. Teaming up with my father is something very cool, whether it's a race at Georgian Downs or Mohawk, and then especially on a night like this, we want to do good for each other, and it's just very, very, very special.
With Tyler driving the horses, it was a project that we started at the start of the year. He struggled a little bit at Mohawk at the start, but the other night when he won with Queen, he couldn't have drove the filly any better. And I had a lot of comments from other drivers. Jack Moisev especially told us the next day that he couldn't have drove the filly any more perfect, which was really pretty impressive to have somebody like that has over 10,000 wins tell you that.
I definitely think that my chances with pencils down are not as good as with You Will Be Queen, just off past performances and whatnot, and especially the 2-year-old filly trot this year is just filled with spectacular fillies like Dabra Day, who breaks records at Flamborough, or Adair Castle, who broke a track record at Grand River and has been racing extremely well at Mohawk and against Grand Circuit races. So pencils down, I don't think there's much pressure for me, just the fact that we're just going to try to do the best we can. However, for You Will Be Queen, the pressure was off last week. Now this week, after winning last week, it's sort of my race to lose, I would think. So I definitely I'm a little more anxious about that one.
Story, the family tradition continuing for Team Jones and Tyler with 2 big drives, the first of those 2 coming up here in this 2-year-old filly trot final, albeit a long shot this time with pencils down. Wasn't in the top 5 in terms of the divisional leaders this year, but Adair Castle was superior and looks like the horse to beat coming in here. Dabra Day, very good season for her, gets the worst of the post draw though.
Yeah, that's actually the big nose 10. Has the speed to overcome it. The problem I have with that though is last time she had the uttermost post, she actually made a break in stride. So I think it's definitely Adair Castle's race to lose.
There's a look at Adair Castle. HP Felicity is another one that's had a good season, 2-time winner, almost $75,000 banked. But Adair Castle looking to continue a big start to the night for James McDonald, trained by Mark Etzel. Another veteran trainer that just kind of quietly over the years has put up great numbers. He's closing in on 1,000 training wins, $7.2 million, and has had many nice horses over that time. And he's got maybe one of his best ever on his hands here. Time to meet the field. Joanne Colville leading our post parades this evening, carrying the OSS flag. First one we're going to see on the parade's number 2, Grace. Doug McNair teams up with Jason McGinnis. And this one, a daughter of merchandiser.
Number 3 is HP Felicity for Sylvain Fillion will be aboard. 2 wins on the season, over 71,000 made.
Number 4 is Resolving, a $30,000 Harrisburg yearling. Daughter of Resolve, 3rd foal of the $100,000 producer, Sunshine and Lollipops. Her best was Lady Rainbow, winner of $800,000.
Number 5 is Lily's Last. Phil Houdon's aboard for Pat Hunt. 1 win on the season, over 42,000 made. A bit of an outsider.
The number 6 pencils down, the aforementioned filly from the Dustin Jones stable. Tyler Jones doing the driving. This one is sibling to Don't Rush, a good one that Dustin campaigned. He earned $750,000. 2 others from the Dam made over $150,000, and this one seems to be getting better as the season wears on.
Number 7, Mischievous Rose. Bob McClure aboard for Luke Blais and Determination. A private purchase earlier in the season. 2 victories, almost $90,000 in the bank.
Adair Castle, queen of the division this year, 6 for 8, 2 runner-up finishes, $373,000 made.
Number 9 is Say Something. Yannick Gingras aboard for Herb Holland. Owner is Gino Toscani. Still a maiden, but over $46,000 in the bank.
And Dabra Day will occupy the outside starting spot. She was a $62,000 Lexington yearling purchase. The daughter of Cadabra, 2nd in the point standings this year. She's won 4 of her 9 and banked over $176,000 for her connections, which include trainer Meg Crone. So that is your field of 10. Big group, many of the favorites toward the outside of the gate in here. Pencils down, we talked about that one, a long shot here, post 6 starter. And again, we were over to the farm earlier this week, and now it's time to hear from Dustin Jones to find out a bit more about this long shot filly.
Hi, I'm Dustin Jones. I'm training Pencils Down in the Super Final tonight.
And it's Pencils Down and Jones trotting up on the far outside now in deep stretch. Pencils Down takes over in deep stretch. Back to second classic Magic, late speed from Blue Bayou Dale. The opener to Pencils Down.
Pencils Down is a little bit more hyperactive, not made quite the same. She's royalty for life. Don't Rush was an infinitive, and he was a little bit shorter and shorter bodied. She's a little bit longer and really a lot hyper. She's a little bit of a handful going up to the gate, and once she's in a race, she's really nice to drive. Don't Rush was, he used to grab on a little bit, but he was pretty level-headed, and in a race he was good to drive also. I think she's at her best, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough, because I think this is one of the toughest bunch of fillies around. Around the barn, she's a sweetheart, and in the paddock, when you go get her, she's a sweetheart. But on the track, she's a handful. She's taken a lot of patience, and that's really why I drove her myself, was because she's, like Bob McIntosh would say, she's one head slap away from being a lunatic.
So I would think realistically, Robert, that the connections of Pencils Down would just look for a good result tonight, maybe a big check, and you know, if you hit 3rd, 4th, 5th, anything like that in here, it's a nice chunk of change when you're going for $225,000. But it appears that all roads lead through Adair Castle in this upcoming trot final.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of similar to the last race we saw with Prohibition Legal, in the sense that Adair Castle only has 2 blemishes on her record. One came at Flamborough Downs over the shorter surface, and she kind of didn't get away off the gate well on that occasion. The other one came against Venerable, you know, so in the peaceful way. So I think that, you know, we can certainly forgive her for both those starts, and other than that, she's been, you know, just tremendous all season long. So I think it's very similar. Another one for James McDonald that should go out and get the job done. 1-2 on the board right now. No surprise with that. I think she is the dominant force in the division in here tonight.
And inevitably on nights like tonight, getting later into the year, maybe horses starting to get a little bit of tiredness setting in, the rigors of a long, tough campaign, sometimes catch up and you see those unexpected results. And, you know, we're looking for that. We're expecting that's going to happen somewhere along the line. And I just don't know if it's going to be here. This filly just doesn't seem to have any chinks in her armor at this point. And you're looking for signs of vulnerability maybe in the last start coming in. I haven't seen them here. Let us know what you think, everybody tuning in tonight. We've got high viewership online tonight. Wonderful to see and hear from everybody. So let us know where you are watching from this evening, and let us know your thoughts on this upcoming race and the remainder of our finals here this evening. Everyone who does, don't forget you're automatically entered into a pair of draws this evening. We're going to be drawing for 2 sets of autographed colors, one signed by Trevor Henry, this year's Pepsi NA Cup champ, and the 2018 Hambo winner, Bob McClure. So a couple of great incentives to do so. As we often like to do, Robert, get you to put the handicapping hat on now. You got a heavy favorite again. How do you play the race?
It's got to go to exotics for me. A price of 3 to 5. I've got to look for exotics. Last race we saw a real chalky exacta, and in the Horse Players Journal, I'm in the same boat again here. I went with Adair Castle over top of Mischievous Rose, and I think that Mischievous Rose is the one that could really step up with a strong effort in here, and maybe the only challenger really to Adair Castle. And we've seen her show some serious gears throughout this season. And if Adair Castle was ever to not come up with her best tonight, I think that's probably the only one that could get to her. But I really believe this is Adair Castle's race to lose, and 1 to 2 on the board. You're not going to get rich betting on that, Greg.
All right, a moment ago we had a good look at number 2, Grace. This is one that I think has a big chance to hit the ticket. She gets the benefit of a better starting spot. She did qualify on September 28th, finishing 4th there, and one start after that, the final gold event, and came back with a really solid 3rd place closing effort. She's got 100,000 made this year, only 7 starts, so relatively fresh coming in, and I think primed for a good result. I'm not sure it'll be good enough to win, but I think could certainly hit the ticket somewhere. Starting 8 underway for the 2-year-old filly trot final. It's Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final night from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
True choice for good reason. 6 wins from 8 starts. She's ventured out of the provincial program. She's had great success in the land of the Grand Circuit as well. Mark Etzel and partners with a very good trotting filly here in 8, Adair Castle. She is the 1 to 2 choice. It's post time. Third race field, picking up speed. 2-year-old trotting fillies are off in their super final, and a clean start for them all. Quickest away down the center, Lily's Last. From the inside, speeding out of there is Grace. Center of the racetrack, Mischievous Rose, then Adair Castle, and far outside, Dabra Day. 5 of them were in a line, now just 4, now 3. To the front is Grace. Pressing on, Mischievous Rose. 3 deep is Dabra Day as she marches up here. A challenging trip for her going into the first turn. Backed off into 4th is Lily's Last. Then 5th inside, Adair Castle. Racing 6th is Need a Little Magic. Hot opening quarter, 27 and 4. Grace on the lead, but under attack. And it's Dabra Day sweeping up now to engage Grace in backstretch battle. Dabra Day marches on by, and she'll take the top, but she parked and now clears at 3/8. Back to second goes Grace. Mischievous Rose 3rd. Lily's Last 4th. Inside trip from in 5th, Adair Castle. Then Need a Little Magic from in 6th. 7th underway starts up, resolving in the backfield. Then HP Felicity pencils down, and the trailer is Say Something. Halftime 57 seconds flat. They're on to the far turn. McClure is on the move out of 3rd, giving cover to Adair Castle as Mischievous Rose got the first over heave hole. Going into the final turn, she'll take it to Dabra Day. Dabra Day leads with 3/8 to go. Here's Mischievous Rose now, just a length away, second outside. Grace pocket rides 3rd. Cover for Adair Castle 4th. Lily's Last, a trapped in 5th. 6th outside to resolving now. Buried 7th, Need a Little Magic. Overland from an 8th is Pencils Down, and the final 2 are the starting up Say Something and the trapped in HP Felicity. 3/4 in 127 and 1. Mischievous Rose went right by Dabra Day. Now must deal with Adair Castle. Mischievous Rose, Adair Castle lets her have it, and Adair Castle trots away. And it's Adair Castle out to a 3-now 4-length lead, and the further they go, the more this filly is going to win by. She's had an exceptional year, and it continues tonight. Crowner, the champ of the Super Final, it is Adair Castle, the queen of this castle. She won by 6 in 156 and 3.
56 and 3.
Heavy favorites tonight, 2-4-2, and James McDonald right back with the Super Final double. Adair Castle leaves no doubt who the queen of this division is, and really worked out a perfect trip and knew exactly what to do with it.
Yeah, that was a big-time exclamation point, and in back-to-back favorite winners here to start off the night, Greg. And I mean, wow, when she went, I thought, she's going to march up to Mischievous Rose, and that's a nice filly in her own right, and she went up alongside and then right on by with authority. So another one just living in a league of her own, really. And Adair Castle, nice to see, a horse that's raced so well all season for a guy like Mark Etzel come out and get the job done when all the chips are down.
So adding a few more shekels to the bankroll, and now well over 400,000 in seasonal earnings. Mark Essel co-owns this one with Robert Newton, Graham Hopkins, and Peter Porter. Of course, Mark training. And back-to-back winners to kick off Super Final night for driver James McDonald. We could be looking at an O'Brien award-winning season in the making here on the driving side.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got to be the clear favorite right now, isn't he? I mean, just a tremendous season, and I can just think back over the summer, all the nights that I'd hear 3 wins, 4 wins, even 5-night wins here at Mohawk Park for James, and a lot of big events too, right, in the OSS and beyond. So James McDonald just having a dream season, and I know he'd probably say that horses like this, make his job easy. Adair Castle and Prohibition Legal, ones like that, and but still, the man in the bike has to also guide them out there. So. Just an incredible season by James McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely. You just put them in position to win, and they'll do the rest. And that's exactly what happened here with Adair Castle, a daughter of Muscle Mass, and he putting his stamp on the OSS program again in 2021 on the trotting side. He is the king of the heap when it comes to trotting stallions, certainly in Ontario over the last few seasons. Another good one on his hands here. Adair Castle is back. Getting the blanket presentation. We will take another quick commercial break and be back in moments to hear from the Winning Connections.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Mr. Levesque, Mach 3, Cadabra, Muscle Mass, and Precious Bunny, to name a few. Our stallions' progeny have won major events, including the Hambletonian. Tara Hill Stud are currently standing 9 of the industry's top stallions. Alarm Detector, Control the Moment, Danson Lou, Flanagan Memory, Green Manalishi, He's Watching, Muscle Mass, Resolve, and Sports Writer. Our facility is modern, our staff knowledgeable. Consider Tara Hill Stud when choosing a home for your stallion. Tara Hill Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to tarahills.com.
A happy winner's circle. Adair Castle wants at those carrots for winning. There's Ashley McDonald, our colleague from a week ago, and she is the winning caretaker tonight. So understandable why she wasn't available to help us out here this evening, and she'll be celebrating with the Connections. We saw Mark Etzel there a moment ago as well. Every year we talk about it, Robert, the strength of the OSS program and how the stars in this provincial program can compete anywhere, and this year no exception, and maybe one of the deepest overall crops we've seen in years.
Definitely, we've seen especially these youngsters, right? They've gone and competed against the best of the best beyond Ontario and held their own. Adair Castle did so against Venerable, right? Who went on to win the Mohawk Million and just an incredible undefeated filly, and Adair Castle was one that obviously didn't challenge her in a close finish on that occasion, but was certainly the best of everyone else in the event, and and really proclaiming her dominance tonight for, in the OSS. And I'm really happy for Mark Etzel, a guy that's always, had time for me whenever I've, wanted to have a chat with someone in the paddock, and just a great horseman all around. So I'm happy to see him get one of this caliber and have such a season like this.
And it looks like he's got the younger generation helping celebrate as well. You talked about it, these youngsters able to certainly compete beyond the OSS. We've seen them have success on the Grand Circuit. On that note, the biggest event in the sport coming up just a couple of weekends from now at the Meadowlands, it will be the Breeders' Crown. And who knows, we might see, a handful of some of the horses competing tonight in those races in a couple of weeks. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to do some digging and to see who's eligible, etc. But I think some of them do have that event earmarked. On that note, not related to tonight's program, but it looks like Brent McGrath, Paul McDonnell have another good youngster on their hands, and he appears to be crown bound.
Yeah, Beach Glass is an absolute monster. Honestly, I hate making comparisons, but when you watch him, you can't help but think of his father, Somebeachsomewhere, and think of how cool that would be to go to the Breeders' Crown and I don't want to say get redemption, but kind of get redemption down there at the Meadowlands. So looking forward to seeing him in there.
All right, let's take a look at the pari-mutuel details here. Again, pretty popular winners so far. Adair Castle, under $3 on the win ticket, very similar to what we saw with Prohibition Legal, $2.90 to be exact. A little bit better in the exacta trifecta department here. Superfecta, not a bad return here with some long shots underneath in the third and fourth spots. You get a $1 ticket worth $318.60. All right, I think we're going to get ready to head over trackside and catch up with winning trainer Mark Etzel.
But first things first, what a fantastic season you've had. I know you've been in the business a very long time. Over 625,000 made thus far this year for you. Talk me through your success this year.
It's just been a good year. Our colts all race good this year. It helps a lot when you have good horses. So it's been an exciting year for everybody.
And this trip here, I mean, James couldn't have mapped out a more perfect drive in here. She was good to go, won by as many as she really wanted. Looked like it was a six and a half length margin victory. What do you make of this performance tonight?
It was a perfect trip for her. She likes, when she kicks off cover, she can really cover ground, and she likes that. She's really a laid-back, lazy filly. I know she shows on front a few times, but she's really lazy. Like, the lines just droop when you're there, so, yeah. But when she comes off cover, she's got a pretty good kick.
And I read a pretty cool story about her in terms of purchasing her, and I know you got her for quite the bargain, and it seems like this filly almost got away from you.
Almost. It was close. I was just lacking a little bit outside. I should have been paying more attention.
And she comes in here, obviously a huge performance once again here in 156-3, and then in that start prior, setting a new lifetime mark in 154-2. Got to be so proud with the season she's had, and it's great to cap it off with this super final victory.
Just been an awesome season for her. She's been good from start to finish. She had one bad start in Flamborough. She had a bit of an infection, and she just wasn't herself, and she still finished second, so we were quite happy with that. So she bounced back. I schooled her here the week after, and she was good. Then she won in 54, and she's just pleasure to be around.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and congrats on this huge victory. Once again, it was Mark Etzel and Adair Castle capturing that OSS Gold Superfinal for those 2-year-old trotting fillies.
Congratulations once again to Mark Etzel, the trainer, co-owner of Adair Castle. And what a season it's been for her. We're excited to look forward to what might be in 2022. The daughter of Muscle Mass. She's done it pretty effortlessly, and I think is going to be getting put away on a high note this season. So I fully would expect her to come back and be able to do what she did this year, next season.
Yeah, I would think so. And and she proved she could do it on on the larger surface and the half as well. So I'm looking forward to see what she has in store for us in her 3-year-old season.
Welcome back. You're watching live coverage of the OSS Super Final night from Woodbine Mohawk Park. As you can see in behind us, it's turned out to be a pretty nice night. A little bit cool. We've bundled up as best we can, and luckily no wind and no rain this evening, which was in the forecast. So Mother Nature did her part for us, and so far the big guns are doing their part and putting on the expected show that we saw. Now, from a handicapping perspective, these aren't maybe the favorite card for the die-hard horse players, but for true fans of the sport, these are the nights you enjoy, getting to watch the best in each division strut their stuff.
Yeah, these horses had to earn their way in throughout the season, right? There was no eliminations for these races. They're in and on points, so it's been, the best of the best all season long, and you love seeing these horses face off against each other. And as a handicapper and a bettor, it's sometimes a little bit tough to make money on cards like this, but it only takes one of them, Greg, to get beat to see some big payouts, because in most of these races we're going to have heavy favorites, and I think I'm going to be on another favorite in the Horse Players Journal again, so some are probably going to critique me tonight saying it's the Chalk Players Journal tonight here at Mohawk Park.
All right, well, you've got 2 in the book so far. Third final is coming up, and our first look at the 3-year-olds this evening. Filly Pacers will be coming up next, and we've got the filly who won last year's rookie Superfinal, Scarlett Hanover, back in good form. A couple of little hiccups maybe early in the season, but she has looked like the Scarlett Hanover that we expected coming into the campaign, and in fact was able to win on the sport's biggest stage just a few weeks back in Delaware, Ohio, where she captured the Jugette under less than ideal weather conditions.
Yeah, she was very impressive on that day, and it's kind of been an interesting season for Scarlett Hanover. You're right, start of the year really wasn't finding her best form, but she's come around and she's still been victorious in 3 of the 4 golds that she's competed in, and the only one that she didn't win was one where she suffered interference right before the wire when she hooked wheels on another rival. So I just think that she's kind of come back to be the horse that we can expect her to be. And you get Yannick Gingras making the trip up tonight to drive her, the pole position to work from. I think she's clearly the one to beat. 1-2 on the board now, right? I mean, I think this race is more contentious than anyone in this field being 1-2, though.
All right, and getting a look there at Bet on Becky. And speaking of bouncing back and starting to look like the filly we expected, we've seen that from this Daughter of Bettor's Delight in recent weeks. Last year, early in the season, she was the standout filly pacer in Ontario, and then injury sidelined her and cut short her season. This year, really struggling to get back into the win column until that recent qualifier, September 21st. And then it's not that she's been able to win her last 2. I think it's the way she's done it that has got people thinking that she's back.
Yeah, I actually tweeted that out last week. I said, Bet on Becky is back. And oddly enough, I don't have her in my top 4 tonight. But I do think she merits respect in here, because if she can keep this momentum going, she was the dominant force at the start of her 2-year-old season. And when she came out this year, I was really hoping we'd see that version of Bet on Becky again. After her grassroots race at Grand River, I remember talking to Jody Jamieson, and he said that, I think there's a little bit of time off, she'll come back and be her old self. And you looked at her form and said, well, how could that be possible? But wow, her last 2 efforts were absolutely fantastic. And, who knows, maybe tonight she can keep that going with another big effort.
And there's Yannick in town tonight, as mentioned, to drive Scarlett Hanover. $313,000 on her card this year, and $750,000 now earned through her first almost 2 full seasons of racing. Daughter of Bettor's Delight, mixing it up between the provincial program and the Grand Circuit, where, as we know, she's had success, the Jugette champion from earlier this year, and likely one that we will see in the Breeders' Crown in a couple of weeks at the Big M. So, with a win tonight and a trip south of the border, she could set herself up to have a chance to become a millionaire down there potentially.
She's inching in on it. It's over $750,000 already made, and if she can win tonight and then get a big piece in there, she would eclipse that mark.
Best Head West is a filly that I'm really disappointed that she hasn't been able to get a win this year. I had my eye on her from the get-go this season. She showed a lot last year at age 2. Regally bred Daughter of Bettor's Delight from Let's Head Out West, who was racing for Team McIntosh for most of the season. She had $190,000 made coming into the year, 3-time winner last year, and hasn't been able to win this year. I think she's so much better than that 0-for-12 record indicates. She's got $80,000 made. She's gone some big miles, but just doesn't have that extra gear this season for whatever the reason. But she is debuting tonight. Carmen Osiello is taking over the training for this one this evening. Trevor Henry, the regular pilot, back on board, and we'll see how she does here this evening as a potential long shot candidate. The next one out is Vols Delight. She's just been Mrs. Steady. Time to meet the field. The Jugette champion Scarlett Hanover leads it off. Yannick Gingras doing the driving. Ashley Hensley training. This one owned by Burke Racing. Frank Baldacchino. Harvey Cedar shares in the ownership as well, along with Jan Silva, Purnell, and Libby.
Number 2 is Western Wish. Doug McNair does the driving for Carmen Osiello. 6 wins out of 13 starts in the season, over $142,000 in the bank.
The Barn Dogs watching number 3. Jody Jameson teams up with Dave Maneri. She's won a real nice season for her, almost $200,000 in the bank.
Number 4 is Bet on Becky. James McDonald aboard tonight for Dave Maneri on the comeback trail. Won her last 2 starts, went 4 for 5 as a 2-year-old, over $150,000 made, and maybe getting back to her old self.
Driver Paul McDonnell going to partner number 5, Best Keepsake for trainer Anthony Beaton, a better than Cheddar filly, who's closing in on $150,000 lifetime.
Number 6 is Jody. Drivers Ed Hensley. The trainer is Ashley Hensley. 4 victories out of 12 starts in the season, over $129,000 made. This is a daughter of Better Than Cheddar.
Best Head West is the aforementioned filly, number 7, a Better's Delight filly, Trevor Henry driving. Debuts tonight for trainer Carmen Osiello, looking for her first win of the season.
Number 8 is Vols Delight, Sylvain Filion for Ben Bayarjan. 5 victories out of 13 starts in the season. Has hit the board in 12 of those efforts and was a runner-up in the Superfinal at 2.
Chiefs Dream Girl, another one winless this season. The Sunshine Beach filly, 0 for 8 coming in, and just $17,000 made this year. Certainly an outsider on the tote board.
And number 10, Nightlife Sealster for Sean Stacy and Louis Philippe Bois. 1 victory out of 17 starts, 7 on the board finishes, but another one that will be a longer price this evening.
Another full field of 10 going postward in here, and Scarlett Hanover top of the tote board at 4 to 5. Her resume speaks for itself. Her recent form has been fantastic. How much is having Yannick Gingras here to drive, maybe driving down that price as well?
I think so. I think you get a vote of confidence from a driver of his caliber coming up to drive this one tonight. I think that obviously drives the price down a little further, and I liked what I saw from her in her last effort against older horses. Now winners of $15,000 last 5, only lost by a head on the wire, and whenever a horse goes again, she's a 3-year-old, but going against older horses, those horses that race week in and week out, and doing that in so close in proximity to this race, and a nice prep event, I thought. So Scarlett Hanover right now at 4 to 5. I think that maybe a tad over bet though, Greg, to be perfectly honest, just because I don't know if anyone in here should be that sure of a price, but I think that she should establish herself as the one to beat in here, and has raced well, for most of the season, especially in the OSS program.
I agree. I think just a little bit light. As we get a look at the leaderboard, Scarlett Hanover leading the division. Vols Delight, so consistent, as mentioned. And, you wouldn't be shocked to see her find her way into the ticket, and likely will be a win threat of some sort here tonight as well. Jody really kind of stepped up there at the midway point of the season, and then has leveled off a little bit of late. But bet on Becky. I mean, from what we've seen in the last couple against overnight foes, we think she's back. Is she back to the point where she could upend a filly like Scarlett Hanover?
That's the big question, and I had some people ask me that today. They were a little bit surprised that I've been on bet on Becky in her recent starts and went off for this evening. And for me, it just comes down to, it was not the bottom condition, and then now it was a 6,000 last 5, and I think that's still a far cry even against older horses from this caliber of competition. So I'm just not sure if she's back to the point that she can beat these. I think that right now 4 to 1 on the board, there's a lot of people out there that are thinking she is, that's for sure, because that's some serious action that she's taking in here, and seeing her be a lower price, someone like number 8 Vols Delight, is shocking to me because, like you mentioned, Greg, Vols Delight's been consistent throughout the season, and just one that you could always kind of count on to throw in a top effort. And I think some people may have been surprised tonight that I went off her actually in the win position, and a price of 6-1. I'm kind of regretting that right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way to lean in here myself. Best Head West is one that all year I've been kind of picking, and it's kind of a long shot play that's going to break out one of these times, and I'm going to continue to look at her tonight as a potential ticket horse, maybe one of those that could beef up the potential payout. But Vols Delight is the type that she maybe doesn't grab the attention like some of the other ones do, but when you look at her overall body of work at the end of the season, you marvel at what she's been able to do. It's just so consistent, always in the mix, and because of an outside post and some other more high-profile horses, I think her price is inflated. I think she's the best play on the board right now.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, and come down a notch to 5-1. Bet on Becky down to 3-1 now, so there's a big-time support out there for Bet on Becky. And listen, I get it for last two, and I'd love to see her race fantastic in here. But, like you said, Vols Delight, model of consistency. And I think that if she doesn't win, at least she's one that will be right there in the finish.
Big night in the harness racing world. The Courageous Lady will be going south of the border tonight from Northfield Park in Ohio. Hello to the gang down there. I know Mike Carter's excited. I believe he's going to be calling the action tonight. Ayers Ratcliffe doing the TV broadcast, so hi to everybody tuning in from that part of the world here this evening. In Indiana, they had their state championship finals this weekend as well. They'll be gearing up for hosting of the Breeders' Crown, I believe, again next season. And of course, we mentioned the Crown coming up in a couple of weeks' time from the Big M, the Meadowlands. Will be playing host once again this year. But we are in the midst of Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final Night. Our first look at the 3-year-olds coming up next, the Philly Pacers, in this $225,000 final.
Ashley Hensley. Tonight, the driver Yannick Gingras. Have to give a lot of credit, though, to Ed Hensley, who's been aboard this filly in the majority of her starts this year here on Canadian soil. She's had a number of different reinsmen when she's gone stateside. Scarlett Hanover, the even money choice. In this one, 3-1 on 4, Bet on Becky. As she's found her form here in recent weeks since returning. We're gathering speed approaching the start. 3-year-old pacing fillies off in their super final. Explosive speed from Nightlife Sealster as she tries to overcome that post-10 hurdle, and she'll rocket to the front here for Wah. Nightlife Sealster at 92-1 is the early leader, but she won't live long in the lead. Here comes a host of challengers. The Barn Dogs Watchin' sweeps on by. Jody is activated early by Hensley too. Vols Delight left sharply, dropped in 4th. Just in behind her is Scarlett Hanover 5th now. Then 6th inside to Western Wish. A tracking Bet on Becky 7th. 2 more back to Best Keepsake, followed by Best Head West, and the trailer in the backfield, Chief's Dream Girl, quarter of 27-1. The Barn Dogs Watchin' and Jameson to the front. Jody in the pocket, Nightlife Sealster 3rd, gap of 3 to Vols Delight 4th. Then it's Scarlett Hanover 5th. Western Wish, tracked by Bet on Becky, Best Keepsake. Further back we go to Best Head West, and 2 more to Chief's Dream Girl. Here comes the half, and it's the Barn Dogs Watchin' on top, the lead over a length in 55-3. Jody tracks in the pocket, Nightlife Sealster. Here's Vols Delight first over now, gaining rapidly on the rim into 3rd, picking up her cover outside Scarlett Hanover, perfectly poised on cover for Gingras from in 5th with 3/8 to go. To the outside, Western Wish, then Bet on Becky, Best Keepsake, Best Head West, and trailer remains Chief's Dream Girl. They're on their way to 3/4, and the plugs pulled on to Barn Dogs Watchin' as Jameson knows company's coming. Vols Delight is first over, getting set to tackle her at 3/4 in 1:23-2, 27-4 third quarter. The Barn Dogs Watchin' into the stretch. Outside, Vols Delight, off her cover, Scarlett Hanover, and the dreamiest of trips for Scarlett Hanover tonight. Chase the speed, launched off cover, and she opens up in deep stretch. Late speed from Bet on Becky into 2nd, but the super final for a super filly. Scarlett Hanover just jogs. She won by 6 lengths. Bet on Becky 2nd, Vols Delight 3rd, the mile 1:50-4.
Well, so far, no real drama in any of the super final results here this evening. Scarlett Hanover She had the profile of the horse to beat coming in. Yannick Gingras in town to do the driving. Could not have mapped it out any better, and the result was another thoroughly dominant win.
Yeah, big time victory there from Scarlett Hanover, and Yannick Gingras could not have given her a better trip, really. We talked about Vol's Delight being one that's consistent, and that one came first over. Yannick was planted on Sylvain Fillion's helmet, and when he tipped out wide, I mean, we said right away, Greg, this race is over. You could see the way she responded. I mean, she was gone the minute she was showing clearance. And Bet on Becky, though, we talked about, is she back enough to go with these already? Well, the answer is yes, because she turned in a really nice effort to be second there. Came from a ways out of it, big closing move, and even took more late money down to 5-2 when the odds closed. And nice runner-up finish there for Bet on Becky, so we can expect to see more good things from her going forward.
Scarlett Hanover with that win now, adding to the bankroll, and it's going to put her up just shy of the $900,000 mark. So a potential date in the Breeders' Crown, and she could be poised to reach millionaire status at that time. Quite a feather in that filly's cap. She has been an OSS standout over the last 2 seasons, and I think what's amazing is the way she's holding her form and appearing to get stronger here as the season goes on. Sign of a great horse. Bet on Becky, yeah, I was impressed. Some real good late pop to finish a clear second. And Vol's Delight, hey, full marks to her again. Had to do all the hard work first over and hung in very well for third. Getting a look at Scarlett Hanover making her way back. She is a daughter of Better's Delight. Better's Delight, one of the greatest stallions in harness racing history, and it's been wonderful to have him represented in the Ontario program. Sammy's Magic Girl is the mare. This one was just a $45,000 yearling purchase from Harrisburg a couple of years back. That has been quite a bargain, to say the least.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, $45,000, and she's had just, really 2 incredible seasons so far to kick off her career. And we already have our first repeat winner. So if your answer was Scarlett Hanover, you're right, but there's still some more possibilities, Greg, on that throughout the card.
Yeah, the way things are going tonight, I wouldn't be surprised. We thought it had the feel of a chalky night potentially, and so far that has been the case. And you never know when you get to nights like this. Sometimes the favorites falter. It is late in the year. Sometimes the elements come into play, but not the case tonight. And the Stars are performing the way they were expected to here this evening. Happy connections on hand, including Yannick Gingras. Well worth the trip north here tonight. And, he'll be looking ahead to some of those lucrative events in a couple of weeks' time at the Meadowlands, his home base. But Canadian native, of course, Yannick. And he spent a lot of time up here the last couple of years. Last year, he was the first guy to come up here and kind of make this his base for the summer during pandemic times.
Yeah, definitely. Yannick's just a tremendous driver. There's no question about that. And one that, when he shows up here, at Mohawk Park or anywhere north of the border, you've got to certainly take notice to who he's aboard, because he's one that can certainly, have a horse bring their A game. And tonight, gave a perfect steer. It may not have been needed because the margin was so great, but still just an absolute picture-perfect steer from Yannick on Scarlett Hanover.
And we should give a shout-out to the Hensleys, who they take over the care of this filly when she's in Ontario, and they've done a marvelous job keeping her in peak form, and she's well-traveled back and forth, and it's been a real nice partnership for both Team Burke, been able to rely on sending the filly here and knowing that she's not missing a beat. And conversely, when you get a horse like that into your stable and be able to walk in and see her every morning, it certainly helps as well. We're getting set to take a quick look at prices before we hear from the winning connections. Scarlett Hanover, another winning favorite. But this time you get a little bit over even money in the win ticket return. In fact, $4.30. So with her winning, Bet on Becky second, $15, not that bad in the exactor department, and another decent superfecta payout north of $414 for that $1 combination. So good luck if you're playing along from home tonight here in Canada. Anyone playing along on the HPI Bet platform or with the Dark Horse app, good luck to you. And right now we're going to head over trackside and hear from Yannick Gingras.
Perfect trip, well mapped out, able to sit just off the speed, and she was really good to go.
Yeah, she sure was. You know, she. I mean, I thought she was the horse to beat, but you know, she kind of needs a trip. I don't think the front or first up. I'm not sure. I mean, she was so good, she probably would have done it. But before the race, I was hoping to get her a nice 2-hole or second over, and it worked out perfectly.
She's now a back-to-back Superfinal winner at 2 and now at 3. I know you've driven her throughout her 2-year-old campaign. Obviously, she's matured very nicely, but still been such a talented filly throughout her 2-year-old campaign and now at 3 as well.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, she's beautiful to drive, and you know, she didn't get a whole lot bigger from last year than this year, but you know, she increased in speed, and you know, her manners is what makes her so nice. You know, you can do whatever you want with her, and she gets the job done.
A new lifetime mark in 150 and 4, always great when the big money's on the line to set a new mark.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, I'm more about the last column on the right for the money, the speed. You know, it's all who they beat and how much money they make.
Thank you so much for your time and congrats on this victory.
Thank you very much.
Once again, it was Yannick Gingras for Scarlett Hanover for trainer Ed and Ashley Hensley, capturing the OSS Superfinal for the
Winback Farm is the #1. Don't miss Winback Farm's Ontario Yearlings at 2021 sales, including Ontario Select, Lexington, and Harrisburg, featuring first Ontario crop yearlings from My MVP, also yearlings from Archangel, Artspeak, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and Shadow Play. Don't miss your chance on a Winback Bred Ontario Gold winner. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
There is the winner's circle at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and that's the place everyone is striving to get to here this evening. Some wonderful OSS swag on display, those ball caps, the blankets, the trophies that they're competing for. And speaking of the OSS swag package, we're going to be drawing that name and announcing the winner a little bit later on the show. If you follow us on social media, you would have seen the photo of that wonderful prize pack. Had a little bit of everything in it. And yeah, very sought after prize tonight. So again, stay tuned. We will announce that winner on there a little bit later here this evening. And as we welcome you back, time now to look at our next contest of the night, the Gold Super Final for 3-year-old colt and gelding trotters. As we continue with live coverage, you're watching on COSA-TV, on the COSA-TV Facebook page. Excuse me, I believe the Winback Farm Facebook page tonight as well, and Harness Racing Update as well, and YouTube streaming there. So a big welcome to everybody tuning in from far and wide. We've heard from folks from down under in Australia, folks south of the border, and of course many here in Ontario and the East Coast, and even out in Alberta here this evening. Big welcome to all of you watching here tonight. It's wonderful to have you with us, and so far the big guns have been putting on a show. I think we feel it's a touch more wide open here, Robert, in the fact that at least it looks like a really good showdown between two colts who have been banging heads all season long, Fashion Frenzy and Logan Park.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, I think we're probably going to have, you know, some chalky results here again, because I think it really comes down to those two. Fashion Frenzy and Logan Park. You know, the point leader is Logan Park, but Fashion Frenzy's one that's held his own against horses beyond the OSS program. So I think he's the one to beat. And if he does get the job done, Greg, we're going to have 4 favorites to start off the program tonight.
And a couple of other ones that have been right there, not too far behind the top pair. Lexus Cody's had a solid year, closing in on $200,000 in earnings, as is Publicity Seeker. Publicity Seeker we've seen a few times on our coverage this season, always seems to be in the mix. So they'll keep, I think, the two top guns honest in here. as we'll give you a look at the division and how it shook out on the point standings this year. Logan Park, he was kind of in and out last year at age 2, sometimes was his own worst enemy, but showed signs of brilliance. He's been much more steady and reliable this year, and the end result has been this kind of a campaign.
Yeah, he put in some really impressive performances, set a track record at Reno Carlton, an all-age track record earlier in the season, and in kind of an interesting scenario last time in the gold event, because Rob Fellows didn't know that we thought Jody would be away for that one, so we put James down. James gets the victory, and now he retains the drive. So Logan Park is one that was getting the better of Fashion Frenzy earlier in the season. Maybe that happens again tonight. Personally, I'm back in Fashion Frenzy's camp.
And for favorites to get upended on nights like this, something you need to have happen. No one's wishing this kind of luck on anyone, but you need maybe some bad luck in the trip department, that type of thing. But so far we have seen with the favorites, they've been getting really good trip scenarios as well. So that combination usually ends up in seeing them in the winner's circle, and we have seen that 3 times so far tonight. It remains to be seen who will end up being the favorite in here. It's a much more balanced betting board in this upcoming 5th race, which is good to see. It's the wrap-up leg of the early Pick 5. You were looking at the will pays. Some pretty light Pick 5 will pays, numbers we don't typically see.
No, not really. I mean, for $1 wager, it's finishing on a Fashion Frenzy, it's just over $50, and at Logan Park's just over $70. Humble brag here, though. I know it's been favorites, but Horse Players Journal is 4 for 4 tonight, so you could have cold punched this one if you had to, but yeah, it's been a chalky night so far, and I think we'll hopefully see at least a couple of prices throughout the evening. But yeah, not typical to see the Pick 5s here at Mohawk Park paying so short.
All right, a shout out to Cam on the cam inside tonight in the paddock. Oh, it's Fraz. Fraz is back. Just getting word, our regular man Fraz is back on the camera. So doing wonderful work inside, getting these shots of connections and those last minute preparations. And we always love getting these up close shots of the horses before they make their way out, getting the game face on, as they say. There's number 1, Royal Tyrone, one of the long shots in the field, winless in 12 this year, and kind of on the fringes when it comes to this level. He's got $20,000 made, $60,000 lifetime, and would need some Chris Christoforou magic tonight in order to get a good result. But that's why they race them, Rob, and we haven't seen any of those crazy priced horses jumping up so far. Maybe it happens here.
Yeah, if it's going to happen, it might happen in one of the trotting events. And also, the thing to keep in mind in this race, Greg, is the horses that we're talking about being the logical ones, they draw on the outside, post 8 and post 9. So not the easiest spot to get away from. And there'll certainly be some action, I think, early on in this one, with it being a more open event. And right now, one of the surprises for me is Macho Martini down to 4-1 on the board and opened off even shorter than that. He has not had the season that I guess the connections would have hoped for or expected, or really anyone would have expected out of him after such a great 2-year-old campaign.
Getting set for race 5. They're coming out to the track for post parade. We'll take a moment to wish a happy birthday to one of our long-time regular viewers, J.D. Varnell, celebrating tonight. Said he's making a few wagers, watching some racing, and apparently sharing a birthday with Ronnie Burke. So we'll wish Ronnie Burke a happy birthday as well. Made a little bit happier with the result of Scarlet Hanover tonight. Time to meet the field here. You talked about Macho Martini. Yeah, what a difference a year makes. Last year, one of the very best in North America. He won 8 of his 11 and banked $450,000 in a brilliant 2-year-old campaign. And this season hasn't been able to find the winner's circle in 9 trips posted and $42,000 made. So needless to say, I'm sure the Connections had high hopes coming into the year, and for whatever reason has not been able to realize those so far. Has shown some signs recently that he's starting to get closer to being competitive at the level, and we'll see tonight. There is a good look at the aforementioned Macho Martini. Luke Blade training for Determination, and regular driver Bob McClure on board.
Number 4 is Publicity Seeker, Doug McNair aboard for Stephen Bossens, and one that's been getting pieces of it throughout the season and was a winner of the Dream of Glory at Hanover Raceway.
Emotions Riches is number 5, Jody Jameson, doing the driving for Maxime Villet. Plies his trade primarily in Quebec, racing at Trois-Rivières, and this one's had a solid campaign on the board in 12 of 13.
Number 6 is Lexus Cody for Trevor Henry and Shannon Henry. Trevor Henry shares ownership, 4 victories on the season, 10 on the board, finishes at 12 starts, 174,000 made.
HP Running Mass, number 7, Sylvain Filion driving here for trainer Ben Bayerjan. 2 wins, 30,000 banked, and a quick record this year of 154.
Number 8 is Fashion Frenzy. Louis-Philippe Roy aboard for Richard Moreau. 5 wins, 11 starts this year. Over 400,000 made. Was the champion of the good times and a regular threat always in the OSS.
After showing signs of brilliance at age 2, Logan Parks really blossomed into a top 3-year-old. 5 wins this year and just shy of $300,000 earned, the bulk of it coming here in the OSS.
Number 10 is Wickenburg. John Drury's aboard for Shannon Henry. Another one that Trevor Henry owns. 10 starts on the season, just 1 victory, over 13,000 made, but we'll have his work cut out for him from post 10.
Good looking tilt coming up here. Many expecting a showdown between Fashion Frenzy and Logan Park. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's that cut and dry. Others, I believe, will make some noise in here. Publicity Seeker's one of those that I think will be somewhere in the mix. What's your instinct on Macho Martini tonight?
My instinct, Craig, is from a fan perspective, I'd love to see him bounce back and have a big effort and look more like his 2-year-old self. But from a handicapping and betting standpoint, he's not going to be on my ticket. I just can't get there off his recent efforts, and he comes into this off a qualifier and he's had a couple of decent efforts throughout the season, but just one that I have to probably steer clear from in my wagers.
All right, well, we want to check in right now with Tony Elliott. He's out trackside. We'll get his thoughts on anything he might be noticing out there. And your thoughts, Tony, on this upcoming contest. It looks like one of the more wide open we've seen to this point in the evening.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think this is top 3 most competitive races on the card, and like you guys mentioned, Fashion Frenzy and Logan Park are definitely going to square off here, but Publicity Seeker definitely has a soft spot in my heart after winning the Dream of Glory at Hanover this year. So he's been ultra consistent, and his last start was a little bit not as consistent as what we might hope, but the last few starts have been bang on, and the weather's certainly starting to come around here. The wind's starting to die down, so it certainly looks like the last 5 or 6 Superfinals tonight will be certainly fantastic.
You mentioned that race, Tony, at Hanover for Publicity Seeker. It speaks volumes to the versatility of the horse, right, and the durability. He's been banging heads at different venues all season long.
Yeah, it certainly shows some versatility there, coming to the tight half-mile track at Hanover Raceway. It is a pretty fast half-mile track, but came right from there with a big win in the Dream of Glory, and then came back to Woodbine Mohawk Park. And like I mentioned before, just consistency is the name of the game. A bunch of top 3s, top 4s, a couple second-place finishes in some big money events. So it's certainly raking in the bills, or the bills is money right now. But it looks like it could have a shot tonight if the trip works out.
Lexus Cody, Robert, the last 3 times this one has raced at the gold level has hit the board on each occasion. Was a runner-up to Fashion Frenzy, 4 back, 3rd last time behind both Logan Park and Fashion Frenzy, and has missed the board only twice in his 12 starts this year. From a time perspective, he's competitive. You just get the impression that one of these nights, it's going to be his night, and the Son of Archangel co-owned and driven by Trevor Henry and wife Shannon Training. Nice story here.
Yeah, it's interesting, Lexus Cody, because I think he's one that if you want to beat either Fashion Frenzy or Logan Park or both of them, I think he's where you have to land. He's been a horse that we talk about tripping out, and the winners tonight have all got pretty favorable trips so far, and I think he might be the one that gets that spot tonight. 5-1 on the board right now. He's taking support, obviously, and he's the 3rd choice, and I think he deserves to be that designation. I just think that he's one that's been knocking at the door, and we've seen Trevor Henry give some pretty nice drives in big spots. I think that might come tonight, and if Fashion Frenzy, Logan Park get used too hard from the outside, I think he might be the one, Johnny, on the spot to get the job done.
And Trevor and Shannon have another starter in the field as well. Number 10, Wickenburg. This one by Il Sogno Dream. But one that I think needed a better post position to have any realistic chance at a good check.
Yeah, I think that Wickenburg's going to be up against it. Post 10, even with a better post, I think it's a real difficult spot for him. But yeah, from post 10, I think he's trying to get a small share at best. Right now, 65 to 1 on the board. No surprise there.
Well, with Fashion Frenzy and Logan Park, I think the bread and butter for both of these horses is their early tactical speed. They're often put into play. So if they both have that intention tonight with outside posts, this could be an interesting race from a driver strategy standpoint.
Yeah, it could be. And the biggest problem for a horse if you've got gate speed is if the horse directly inside of you has gate speed as well, right? Because it usually makes it a more taxing journey. And with both these two, I think they have to rattle off the gate pretty good early and get into position. There's also some speed on the inside, so.
All right, the lights of the starting gate flashing, and that means it's time to call them in for race number 5. As we continue with the Gold Super Final Championships here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. 3-year-old Colt Trotters coming up next. Going to be a good one.
Starting gate is rolling now for tonight's 5th race. We've got a field of 10 moving up to it here. Race 5 to wrap up tonight's early pick 5. Can't see it here, but we've got one horse who's at least 1/8 of a mile behind the others. He was on the pace, just not himself tonight. HP Running Mass, that's the 7. Sylvain Philly on aboard, way back. Even money on number 8, Fashion Frenzy here, with Louis Philippois for conditioner Richard Moreau. There's the 7. And as mentioned, he's 1/8 of a mile behind the others. The gate swings off the turn into stretch for tonight's 5th race. It's post time. Here they come. On a break 5, Emotion Rich. They're off and trotting. Good strong start inside for Publicity Seeker. Punching out of there with speed from the outside goes Logan Park. Lexus Cody in between horses marching out 2 for position. Fashion Frenzy flashed a bit of early speed. He'll drop in 4th and he'll watch this 3-wide rodeo battle into the first turn. In at the rail, Publicity Seeker. Down the center, Lexus Cody still out there 3 high. That is Logan Park. Hot quarter coming up. Lexus Cody up to take the lead. 26-4 that first quarter. And the battling isn't done. Back into second, Publicity Seeker. Logan Park marches on from in 3rd outside. He's into 2nd, and he's coming after Lexus Cody on the way to 3/8. Charged up is Lexus Cody. Here alongside is Logan Park trying desperately to get by. Back into 3rd is Publicity Seeker. Fashion Frenzies right there with them from in 4th. Then 5th inside to Deal 'em to Dewey. 6th in at the rail is Royal Tyrone. Further back we go, 7th. Popping out is Macho Martini from the backfield. Emotion Rich is back in it after the early break. Then it's back to Wickenburg. Halftime, 55-2. Logan Park found the front. Used mighty hard to get there. Royal Tyrone is in the safety lane on the run. Here to the outside comes the favorite Fashion Frenzy now marching up. Inside trip 3rd, Lexus Cody. Right there is Deal 'em with Dewey, an upset-minded Deal 'em with Dewey. Suddenly a sneaky 2nd over from in 4th. Trapped in 5th is Publicity Seeker. Here's 3/4. Logan Park is under attack. Fashion Frenzy lets him have it. Pocket Rider Lexus Cody 3rd. Now off cover Deal 'em with Dewey. In behind them is Publicity Seeker. 3/4 in 124-4. Outside Fashion Frenzy strikes the front. Logan Park is trying to hold on in that 2nd spot. Inside trip in 3rd for Lexus Cody. Fashion Frenzy forges by in the final 16th now, and it's Fashion Frenzy trotting clear in deep stretch for Waugh. Fashion Frenzy to win the Super Final by 2. Logan Park a gutsy 2nd. Lexus Cody was 3rd. Publicity Seeker 4th in 153-4.
Yep. Fashion Frenzy getting the job done, and not really the way we expected to see that one pan out, Greg. We thought there might be a little bit of action in the first turn, but we saw Logan Park used really hard to get to that early lead. 26-4 to the quarter, 55-2 to the half, and Lexus Cody ended up getting that 2-hole trip. We thought he might be able to trip out in there, but Fashion Frenzy first over. Got to avoid that early speed, which ended up being something that came definitely to his favor. Nice victory though, first over, drawing away at the wire, and another favorite getting the job done here. The favorites are 5 for 5 overall here at Mohawk Park, and we're 4 for 4 so far in the Superfinals.
Absolutely. That was easily the most entertaining contest that we've seen so far this evening, with some early battling. Nothing was being given to anybody on this night, and really the cream, I think, rises to the top there, because we were all marveling that they were all still around to talk about it in the late stages. You're looking at a lot of quality here in these top 3, top 4 finishers in this particular contest, and again, testament to the depth of the OSS program.
Yeah, they were, we really, the 4 we really talked about, really, that were going to be the ones that would be in contention here. And I love what Louis-Philippe Bois did. He sensed that early speed, and he kind of wanted to sit off of it. And I think that it may not have mattered in the end, but he certainly got to avoid that early heat that Logan Park and Lexus Cody did not get to avoid. That's big numbers, 26-4, 55-2. And, got a little bit wild early. But, Fashion Frenzy, a first over victory. Logan Park did well, I thought, to stay on for second. Lexus Cody third, Publicity Seeker fourth, so kind of ran out in the exact order that we kind of saw the race finishing.
And how about the season for trotting stallion Archangel? And he will sweep the top 3 spots here with Fashion Frenzy, Logan Park, and Lexus Cody, all by that stallion who has really, I think, made a name for himself this season in particular in Ontario, and serving notice that we'll see more of his offspring.
Yeah, I think that his offspring will be selling for quite a bit more going forward, because it's been a tremendous season for him as a sire, and definitely an opportunity going forward for him to continue to stamp his mark in the OSS.
Fashion Frenzy, he's an eye-catching individual on the racetrack, and we remember last year he showed a lot of high speed and brilliance early on, and then I think it just had a couple of braking issues, got derailed slightly. Richard Moreau took over the training late in the season, and relatively lightly raced last year, and I think it's serving him well now this season. He's blossoming and turning into something special, and beyond this season now and the OSS program, you wonder what lies ahead. Will these be the types of horses that we will see in the older trotting ranks and Grand Circuit races? And I think they've got the tools and the talent to hit that level.
Yeah, he's shown versatility too. He's one that can go to the front or come from off the pace first over tonight. He's one that can kind of win from anywhere. And you know what? Our poll question now has 2 correct answers. Fashion Frenzy now getting the job done. So Scarlett Hanover, we've got 2 correct answers so far in that poll question, and who knows, there might be 2 more to come. Another repeat winner here in the Super Final, winning at both at 2 and 3, Fashion Frenzy.
All right, Louis-Philippe Bois with a big win. They're rocking that mustache there, getting ready for Movember perhaps, and donning his brand new OSS baseball cap, as are all of the happy connections, as Fashion Frenzy gets it done. And he looks like he go around and do it again. He just looks full of himself out there, and a nice trotter. There was an inquiry, Robert. I don't know what they were looking at. Perhaps pylon?
Lexus Cody,
perhaps a pylon violation?
In the stretch, it looks like Lexus Cody went inside a couple of pylons there, and it's just going to depend if they deem that he gained an unfair advantage in doing so. I don't think he went in enough that he would be disqualified for that. Also, a full pari-mutuel refund on number 7 HP Running Mass. If you played that one.
Yeah, that's got to be disappointing, right? To get to the big stage like this and not really get a chance to compete. But as we mentioned, the big ones, again, delivering as expected here. If you were going to pick the top 4 in order in that race, a lot of people would have them in this very order: 8, 9, 6, and 4, as Fashion Frenzy continues to add to his impressive bankroll here in the 3-year-old season. Now over $500,000 on his card this season alone. And in terms of the win ticket return, he's your even money favorite, getting it done over Logan Park, with Lexus Cody and Publicity Seeker rounding out the top 4 finishers in here. Another low-priced exactor of $7.90, and the pick 3. Again, looking at numbers we don't generally see, a 20-cent pick 5 $10. Not sure I've seen one that low or can recall.
There's been a couple, maybe a little bit lower, but you're right. No, it's got to be right near the bottom of the spectrum, Greg. $10.60 for a 20-cent wager, or 53 for $1. Some people ask me how to play tonight, and I said, if you're going to play, you might want to just try to straight punch a lot of these multi-leg wagers and try to get them for a bigger denomination, which is always an option. Hard to do, but tonight it would have worked out in that opening pick 5 because the favorites here at Mohawk Park overall 5 for 5 so far to kick off the card.
And that's what they say, right? If you've got it enough times, it can still pay out. But we'll see. Now, time to really turn our attention here and something different. We've got an overnight event for non-winners of $16,000 in their last 5 starts, and it's an optional $45,000 claimer. And this really looks like a much more enticing race from a wagering standpoint in here. Some hard-hitting types, some bread and butter overnight horses that we see week in and week out. So I think we've got a good one coming up here. We'll take a quick commercial break and come back with more. We've got that overnight event and then the second half of our super final night from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com. and see what everyone is talking about.
And even Trevor's horse, they still race pretty good because they didn't give it that much easy down the lane. I was expecting them to be a little more tired getting in the stretch. But my horse is versatile. He raced against older horses first up and still raced great. So I wasn't scared to use that kind of trip with him.
I know he was a later acquisition for Richard Moreau in terms of later in the season, but he was a super final winner at 2. I know you drove him a little bit then, but now this time around you've been driving him much of his 3-year-old campaign. Obviously he's progressed so nicely and he's just been so good to you. And as you mentioned, extremely versatile.
Oh yeah, it's a big story behind that horse. I mean, it's one of my good friends that bought him as yearling, trained him down with he has a few partners with him. And last year, actually, I qualified him before the super final, and then I have to choose between Logan Park that I drove the whole year, and Fashion Frenzy that I just qualified once. I didn't know him that much, and but I've been lucky that it turned around this year. I mean, Logan Park had a hell of a season too. I've been very happy to drive any of the two, but to win there with my friends, that's pretty that's special.
I know we've had a busy winner's circle and tons of little fans in here. I know no one can really see what's going on, but I know I won't keep you too long. So congrats on this victory and another great season for Fashion Frenzy. Now back-to-back OSS Gold Super Final victories, going to the 8-horse in here, Fashion Frenzy, in a time.
All right, hearing there from winning driver Louis-Philippe Roy. Looking a bit like Austin Matthews these days, and really nice steer there. You got to stay slightly out of that early tussling, and that ended up being critical.
Yeah, we've seen some real fantastic drives tonight from some of the superstars on the driving side of the sport, and just a great drive there to stay out of trouble early, stay out of that early hot pace, and come first over and get the job done. And I love the stash, by the way. I told him that. I said, hey, man, keep rocking that stash. He says some give him a flag for it, but I love it.
Absolutely. So congratulations to LPR on the big win here tonight. We're going to be giving away a couple of sets of driver colors following our show this evening as well for everybody who comments that's tuning in tonight. Trevor Henry and Bob McClure have those signed autographed colors that we're going to be giving away a little bit later on, and we're going to be drawing as well, and hope to have that winner announced shortly for the OSS prize package as well. But there's a look at the driver colors, kindly donated by several of our top Rainsmen this season. We've been giving them out during our broadcasts all season long, and wonderful prizes. So thank you again, and a chance, if you're just joining us tonight, to tune in, drop us a line. Maybe you've got a question or a comment, and also let us know where you're tuning in from. Really interesting to see the geographical location of our viewers on nights like tonight as well, watching worldwide. And a look at the hardware they are competing for here tonight. It's OSS Super Final night, and this provincial program has certainly produced champions over the years, and none greater, of course, than Somebeachsomewhere from back in 2008. Boy, time flies, and the late, great Somebeachsomewhere. And I believe we're going to take a look back here a little bit later at one of his biggest career victories, and it happened to come on a super final night where the conditions were less than ideal, let's say, on that night, and one of his greatest performances of his career. But let's dive into this upcoming contest, Robert, where we've got a good-looking field of 9. And I know a guy like yourself that's looking at it from that handicapping point of view, a race like this is a real attractive proposition.
It is, for sure. It's a nice way to take a break from the OSS Gold Superfinals and a lot of the favorites that we've seen so far. And it's a competitive overnight event. Non-winners of 16,000 last 5, and horses that go to battle week in and week out here at Mohawk Park. And I thought I might actually land on the favorite in here, and I was worried about that, Greg. But right now, Speedy Dominic, number 3. Sitting at 4-1 right now. One that's is just joined the circuit, with some kind of recency. Hasn't been here too long after shipping over from Australia, and been a consistent type so far. One that's really impressed me. So he's my top selection in here, and I do think though this is a very competitive event in the 6th race at Mohawk Park.
They are getting ready to head to the racetrack now for this non-winners event, and on last look at the betting board, number 5, Sweet Diesel, talk of the tote board right now. Going to be dropping down the class ladder back to the same level where he delivered pretty impressively 2 lines back. We'll try and duplicate here. Number 1 is East End a 148 and 2 career winner, 600,000 on his card. Louis Philippe Bois will try and come right back with a second consecutive win on the program. Trainer Rob Fellows, who was the runner-up with Logan Park back in that 5th race, will try and connect here with East End. A hard-hitting Son of Better's Delight, another 88,000 on his card this year, so he's poised for another 6-figure season here in the province. There is a look at East End on Post Parade there. Again, Louis Philippe Bois to do the driving. And right now, a long shot on the wagering at 9-1.
Number 2 is Highland Beach Lover, a winner last time in the class below this, and honors of 13,000 last 5. John Drury aboard for Carmen Acciello, 3 wins on the season.
Ben Bayerjean has taken over the training of Speedy Dominic. He was 3rd in the debut for the barn last time. Sylvain Filion does the driving tonight.
Number 4 is Windblown. Trevor Henry aboard for Dr. Ian Moore. 7 victories out of 15 starts, and one that's has been consistently getting a piece.
There's Sweet Diesel, favorite currently. Doug McNair teaming up here with trainer Julie Robinson. This guy's won 3 of 19 coming in.
Number 6 is Pirate Hanover, 3-year-old facing against older horses. Jody Jameson aboard for Richard Moreau.
Points North, number 7, a son of Somebeachsomewhere. James McDonald looks for his 3rd winner on the card. Carmasiello trained 6 wins and 125,000 on his card in 2021.
Number 8 is Dream Fair Moxie for Travis Cullen and Rachel Andrew. A winner last time at 21-1. That was a non-winners of 5,000 last 5 though, facing much tougher today.
and the definition of a warhorse, Trazer Hanover number 9, career winner of $1.1 million for Team Baerjean. Ben Train's Mario Baerjean is in the driver's seat. So that is your field of 9. You've got a daily double offering here. You've got the start of the late pick 5 wager as well. So let's talk pick 5, Rob. The early one of the lowest we can recall seeing here. What are you expecting this time around?
Well, I mean, it really depends what happens in this event. I mean, the early pick 5, paid obviously very light. We started off in the first race of the night, which we didn't have on the program, was a favorite as well. So if we get a favorite down in this leg, I think it could end up being very, very chalky again, because we have quite a few difficult favorites to beat coming up in the last 4 races of the Superfinals. But, this is a race that really is more wide open than I think the odds board's letting on.
Let's bring in Tony Elliott again. And Tony, a little break in the action from the Superfinals tonight, but as we look ahead to the back half, who are some of the connections that we'll hear from that you caught up with earlier?
Yeah, we're going to hear from Bob McClure, who's driving Stonebridge Helios in the next OSS Superfinal. He's very confident about this colt, and he should very well be. He's been racing fantastic, and we're also going to hear from Joey Jamieson about Bulldog Hanover, one of our horses we're looking to come back-to-back here in the OSS Superfinals. So I've been a big fan of Bulldog Hanover throughout the season. I think there's been a lot of people that have been on board with this colt as well.
And what's the vibe like in the paddock on a night like tonight, where you've got so many of the top horses here, all the connections are excited? I'm sure there's a real exciting vibe tonight in the paddock location.
Yeah, certainly the title makes it the buzz around the paddock with the OSS Superfinal champion, certainly something that people chase after, but I think 1.8 million purses on the line certainly
abysmal. And on that note, we're going to take a flashback now while we have a moment and take a look at, to this day, one of the greatest performances in the history of the provincial program. Compliments of none other than the late great Somebeachsomewhere. Let's look back at him winning at Woodbine Racetrack from back in 2008.
However, we move in front of us here at Woodbine. It is Somebeachsomewhere, sent right after command by Paul McDonald, and away second towards the inside as they race to the quarter. Getting into that second spot as they charge over to the quarter pole is Lucky Man. With a ringside seat to the battles from third is Trade Editor, quarter in 27 seconds. Then back there racing along from in fourth as they move across the tunnel and head to the backstretch is Doug's Fame. Another 2 lengths back at the inside now. Racing along from in fifth as they get ready for the backstretch is Keystone Horatio. Further back to the Mohegan Pan. Then also in the backfield races along Deuce Sealster. And far behind after that problematic start is A Million Pennies. The quarter is 27 seconds. And high stepping to the half is Somebeachsomewhere. Somebeachsomewhere gets them there in 54 2/5 seconds. And he heads towards the far turn here at Woodbine. It's Paul McDonald and Somebeachsomewhere getting ready for the final turn here at Woodbine, and he's got a 5-length lead on the others. Back in second is Lucky Man. He is more or less cutting out his own mile. Then back in third as they prepare for the final turn, that is Trade Editor. A gap of another 4 lengths back towards the inside as they move around that far turn to Doug's Fame, and they're on their way to 3/4. Somebeachsomewhere trips the teletimer there in 1:21. Off the turn and into the stretch. The stuff that legends are made of turns for home. Somebeachsomewhere is kicked away to a 10-length lead now for McDonell, and he brings the field towards the 7/8 mile marker. This is Somebeachsomewhere, and he is the pacer that is super freaky. Somebeachsomewhere is kicked away now to a 12 or 13-length lead into the final 16th. Here he is, Somebeachsomewhere to win the super final, adding to his star-studded resume, and he wins in 1:50 3/5. Keystone Horatio, a long-distance phone call back in second. Coming on for third was Trade Editor.
Still gets Still gives you chills to look back at that 150-3. That was an incredible personal effort on that night. It was a cold, damp, windy night. In fact, so much so they took the winner's circle celebrations inside that evening in the thoroughbred walking ring. And just one of the many great performances. It was similar to the night he won the Messenger where he beat Shadow Play. That was not a very nice night either at Yonkers, and just showed the versatility and the greatness of the beach and his durability as well. And passing it on to his sons and daughters, of course, and Brent McGrath, the owner, may, now it's still a stretch, but may have struck lightning twice. He's got a youngster that's been turning heads here. He's undefeated. His name is Beach Glass, and really looking forward to seeing him taste his first taste of stakes competition coming up soon, hopefully in the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how he fares against that type of competition. He's been incredible here at Mohawk Park, and you know, I often say time is irrelevant, but man, when they're that young and they're that young into their career and they're going those kind of miles, and last time against older horses and do it so effortlessly, wow, he kind of looks like his father, and it'd be kind of, you know, fitting that one of his final sons would maybe, you know, be able to go out there and be at that high of a caliber.
Yeah, they cleaned the carbon out a little bit, as they say the other night. 151 jaunt, I guess wanting to really get an indication of where they were at, and he made it look like a training mile. So far, so good for him. We've got our only overnight event of the night as part of our live coverage here this evening, here in race number 6, and the starting gate is underway.
So it's a field of 9, and Windblown is far back. Just won't hit the pace tonight. As the gate swings into the stretch, it's post time for race 6. Here they come. Off and pacing, and a good start in the center. Sweet Diesel trucks out of there. Speedy Dominic is going to go with them. From the outside, Points North, driving third, looking for position up near the lead. Through at the rail east end into fourth. Fifth backed up goes Pirate Hanover. Now sixth is Highland Beach Lover. Then it's Dream Fair Moxie, Trasser Hanover, and suddenly back in it there in the backfield is Windblown. The inquiry sign lit regards to his start. Field going to the quarter, and they'll chase Speedy Dominic as he's on top in 27 4/5. Speedy Dominic leads over Sweet Diesel, then Points North and East End. Pirate Hanover nestled in 5th. Highland Beach Lover the 6th one back. 7th to the inside to Dream Fair Moxie. It's 2 more to Trasser Hanover, and Windblown is the trailer on the way to the midway point. Filion swings away on Speedy Dominic, who leads. Second is Sweet Diesel. Points North, East End starts to edge. Picking up his cover, Pirate Hanover. Halftime, they're over there, 56-3. Speed is pretty sensible here as they go into the final turn. Speedy Dominic, the racetrack is his tonight. He's on top by a length and a half. Now pressure comes from East End. Right there, third is Sweet Diesel, but he starts to gap a pocket as the speed quickens. Outside, Pirate Hanover gapping on his cover. Through at the inside from in 5th, that's Points North. 6th outside to Highland Beach Lover, Dream Fair Moxie, followed by Trasser Hanover and Windblown, 3/4 of a mile, and Speedy Dominic is on top there in 1:23-3. Step to third quarter in 27 flat. Speedy Dominic into the stretch. Sweet Diesel is second now as he'll look to tip and drive later. Willie, maybe he'll scoot up the rail. There he goes. Sweet Diesel up the inside as Speedy Dominic goes into drift mode here. Speedy Dominic up the inside. Sweet Diesel trying to get him. Sweet Diesel's coming through, and it's Sweet Diesel and McNair to win. Sweet Diesel in front. Speedy Dominic second. Points North was third. Pirate Hanover fourth in 1:51.
Real good finish in race number 6. Comes down to a final quarter sprint between Speedy Dominic, who set all the tempo, and the one that sat on his back in the late stages, Sweet Diesel. It appeared he did the pylon squeeze and got there in time.
Yeah, something that Doug McNair is really good at. You know, he put this horse in position with a great trip and you know, slipped up the cones late to get the job done. You know, we talked about maybe finally seeing a price on the card, Greg. Well, hate to say it, another favorite wins it at 8-5, and a 2-1 shot finishing second. So I actually had Speedy Dominic on top in there. You know, he raced well and was definitely the best of the rest. Only lost by a small margin, but Sweet Diesel emerges victorious here tonight.
Yeah, the horses are racing to form here tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and that was another case of it. 1:51, the win time. So I think, with the cooler conditions tonight, some dampness in the air, they're generally going maybe a second and a half slower than they normally would. So just something to keep in mind. But again, the favorites are delivering as you would expect through the first 6 so far this evening. So half of the program completed and a very formful, chalky night so far. Time for another quick commercial break. We'll be back and set it up for our next OSS Super Final of the night.
Since 1996, the Ontario Standardbred Adoption Society has facilitated the retraining and management of more than 1,000 retired and non-racing standardbred horses. This award-winning organization also plays a key role in the advocacy and promotion of the breed's versatility and suitability for many equine disciplines beyond harness racing. Volunteers and temporary foster homes are vital to our success. If you have a passion for standardbreds, learn more at osas.ca.
It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown on Friday, October 29th and Saturday, October 30th. This year, the Breeders' Crown, presented by Lidfeld Cats Breeding Partnership, is at the Meadowlands Racetrack. This $6 million year-end series with 12 championship events takes place over 2 days. Friday night features the top 2-year-old trotters and pacers, post time at 6:20 p.m. Saturday afternoon has a post time of 12 noon with 8 championship events, including 4 divisions for the world's best open trotters and pacers. Details at playmeadowlands.com and breederscrown.com.
And welcome back. It is Super Final night from Woodbine Mohawk Park. There's a look at the scene. A little bit on the cool side. Temperature, I would say in the low single digits at this point in time. But it stayed dry. The heavy threat of rain did not materialize, which was good to see. It happened earlier in the day and has pushed out, and it's been a pretty nice night overall. One of the races we're most excited to watch tonight, 2-year-old colt pacers. And this division has seen different colts at different points in the season step up and have their moment in the spotlight. Perhaps the most consistent, though, has been Stonebridge Helios from the John Pentland stable. And Bob McClure has been his regular pilot. So we're going to hear from him in just a moment, but let's bring up the field page and give you a look at how they're going to line up here for this upcoming 2-year-old colt and gelding final. Another $225,000 purse on the line. Bob Loblaw's in the field, Robert, colt from the Ken Middleton barn. And kind of up and down. He had his big moment earlier in the season winning the Nassagaweya, and just kind of some tough luck and misfortune since then.
Yeah, he's had tough luck in quite a few starts actually throughout the course of the season, and most recently made a break in an OSS Gold at Flamborough Downs and jumped it off in the Metro as well. You know, one that even a couple times that he didn't make a miscue, ended up in a tough spot and was shuffled back and locked in. So he's been a hard luck horse, but he still has over $121,000 in the bank for our good friend Ken Middleton, and I know that he's certainly high on this gelding, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to get a favorable trip tonight. He get a piece of this.
At this point in the year too, we sometimes see gaps in the schedule from when horses last raced until the Super Final. Some get some time off for a variety of reasons. So you'll notice that, and especially in this race, a few of them coming in off qualifying races and that missed time, including Stonebridge Helios. How does that factor into your approach with him?
Well, for me, I think Stonebridge Helios has just been a pleasure to watch all season, and one that he rises to the occasion when he races in an OSS Gold or in a major stakes race. He gets the job done, and I think that we'll probably see that again from him tonight. Obviously hasn't raced since September 11th, but that qualifier is a pretty good tightener, coming home in 26-2, and qualifying is not racing, Greg, but we do know that for a horse like this, that's a pretty good indication that he's ready to roll, and the time off is no concern.
So he's your point leader, 150 points in the division. Only 6 starts, though, on the season, so still relatively fresh, and I think Pentland will have him pointed and ready to go tonight. Better Have My Money, the early season sensation. He won the Battle of Waterloo, a hard-fought victory at Grand River. Interesting, though, he has not been able to come back and win since that time, although he still remains a top-level competitor. Aaron Wood Eve, I would say, is kind of the now horse in the division. And Colby Two-Step is another one that at times this year has shown that he can go with the very best. So really intriguing group overall here in this next OSS final of the night. I believe we're quickly going to look at the prices from back in race number 6, just for those who are playing along tonight. We'll update those for you, and then we'll turn our attention back to this next contest. So there's a look at the details. Another winning favorite, as you alluded to there, Rob, $5.30 win ticket return, popular exactor combinations with the favorites finishing 1-2. So will that trend continue? And the probable favorite in this upcoming 2-year-old colt final will be Stonebridge Helios from Post 1. And earlier tonight, our Tony Elliott caught up with his driver, Bob McClure.
All right, I am joined by driver Bob McClure, driver of Stonebridge Helios in race 7, position number 1 coming up in the next race here. He's been a fantastic drive throughout the season for you, and coming in off the most recent qualifier last quarter, 26-2. You can't be much happier with him at this point.
No, he's been awesome all year. He was awesome last week, and hopefully there's no underlying conditions to indicate he's going to be anything other than himself tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And with the current conditions, and especially with the limited amount of starts for this colt, you certainly expect him to be fresh for tonight.
Absolutely, and John as well is very good at keeping them fresh. It's one of his specialties, is managing them well, and I expect him to be 100% tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob, and we wish you luck with all your draws tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Tony and Bob. Some words on Stonebridge Helios. It sounds like Bob is confident that this guy will be coming here to the track ready to go tonight. John Pentland, the trainer, a guy that's had a solid career, $8.2 million earned as a trainer in his career. You think back to some of the top mares he had back in the early 2000s, ones like Luck of Michelle, Jan's Luck, $1 million performers. And he's had many more good ones since then. And this guy, following in the footsteps, Sunshine Beach colt, that I agree. I think John's really managing him well. He has a smaller operation in terms of numbers of horses. So he really wants to make sure they're pointed and primed for the biggest races.
I was actually just going to say that, a trainer that manages his horses really well, and it's something that we've come to expect from John Pentland. And, just 6 starts on the year, 4 victories, 2 second-place finishes, always seems to rise to the occasion, Stonebridge Helios, when the chips are down. And I think we're going to see that again tonight. And sometimes it's not about the quantity of starts, it's about the quality. And if you can maximize your potential in those bigger events, you don't need to race a bunch of times throughout the year. And we've seen that with this favorite.
And they'll be planning the long-term approach with this colt as well, and wanting to make sure that he's put away at his best this year, or the best that they can have him, as they, will look ahead to hopefully even bigger and better things next year. This guy from the mare Kendall J, she was a $250,000 winner, and this is her first foal, so it looks like she's passed on her abilities to this youngster as well. The qualifier definitely was an eye catcher. A little bit different approach. McClure, I know when he qualifies for Luke Blais on the trot, a lot of times they don't go big flashy miles, right? But they're ready to go. This, on the other hand, was I think a more statement-like qualifying effort, if you will, and serves notice that he'll be a factor tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the key there, is that it's proximity to a big race like this, and yeah, most of the time we'll see Bob McClure trying to keep their horses brave and sometimes staying on a helmet, and racing from the back of the bus. And this occasion with Stonebridge Helios, I think with such a big event in close proximity, they want him to have a real good mile under his belt, because he's going to have to go a big one tonight no matter what. Doesn't matter how this race pans out. There's a lot of real strong rookie pacers in here, and I don't think anything's going to be handed to him. So he's even running the board right now. He's going to still need every bit of his A game to get the job done.
This upcoming field, too, a mix of homebreds and what I would consider bargain basement yearlings. Stonebridge Helios, a good example, a $25,000 London selected purchase, $270,000 made this year. Aaronwood Eve, his next door neighbor, collared for just $12,000 from the Ontario selected sale. He's got $180,000 made. Colby Two-Step, $12,000 yearling, $100,000 plus on his card. So, you know, if you've you got that eye for a hidden gem at the sale, it can pay off handsomely.
Yeah, I'd love to have one of these ones for O'Malley, have anyone in this race, Greg, but wow, $12,000, you know, for Aaronwood Eves and Colby Two-Step. I mean, there's a couple of real bargains there, and also obviously $25,000 for the one that everyone thinks is going to get the job done tonight, Stonebridge Helios. You know, just shows that, you know, it's not always the most expensive yearlings that come through the sales that have the success.
And a nice look at Stonebridge Helios in our paddock location. It is go time as we get back on board with the Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final Championships here this evening. We had a break in the action, race number 6, but it's on to final number 5 and rookie colt pacers, and I think we're going to see a pretty good show here from this group. Stonebridge Helios, talk of the tote board right now at 4-5, 6-1 on the number 2, Aaronwood Eve. I don't know about you, but I was ultra impressed with that recent spin around Flamborough Downs in a gold event in 153-1.
And we talk about less than ideal conditions. That was a night that the conditions were certainly not ideal. The track was a second off. You know, the elements were certainly at play, and it was a dominating effort. Aaronwood Eves is one that has you know, tons of gate speed. And even going back to that Battle of Waterloo race, you know, Better Have My Money didn't really come out of it at his best since then. Whereas Aaronwood Eves, you know, a slight break in the schedule, but one that has continued on and been racing really well. And that effort caught my eye, that's for sure. And Louis Philippe Waugh now has earned that drive. We'll see him back aboard that 2-year-old colt tonight.
Is one of the homebreds in the field that we spoke of, Bootlegger Charlie, number 7 in the field, is Sunshine Beach gelding out of Mapleia, sports writer mare that was campaigned by Andrew Moore. She made $250,000 on the racetrack, and Andrew trains this gelded son of that one, a $45,000 winner this year with a couple of wins from 8 trips postward. 9-2, another one getting a good look on the board is Colby Two-Step, the number 4. In mid-August, he was a 51-2 winner at the gold level, and that was as impressive as I had seen in the division all season long. Hasn't been able to come back and duplicate that since, but if he's the same horse tonight, definitely could be heard from in this field. A lot of talent on display, and time to meet them individually for the 2-year-old colt and gelding pace. Number 1, the aforementioned Stonebridge Helios, John Pentland training. The owner, John Fleischman of Ottawa, Ontario. Angie Stiller shares ownership as well with the trainer,
Number
John
2,
Pentland.
Aaronwood Eve for Louis Philippe Waugh aboard for Gabby Sasso. 6 on the board, finished at 6 starts, 2 wins, $177,000 win.
Battle of Waterloo champion Better Have My Money, post 3 starter, $335,000 made this year. The combination of Gallucci, McDonald, and Miller Farms have already clicked for a win earlier this evening.
Number 4 is Colby Two-Step, Doug McNair aboard for Tim Gillespie. Just 5 starts in the season, but 3 wins, over $100,000 made.
Bob Blah, he was a winner of a Nassagaweya division back in August. Ken Middleton owns and trains Sylvan filly on drives.
Number 6, Sentry Inspector, Tyler Moore drives for his father, Dr. Ian Moore. Still a maiden through 10 starts, with 7 on the board finishes and $129,000 in the bank.
Bootlegger Charlie the 7, Jody Jameson driving, looks for his 3rd win of the campaign.
Number 8 is Sports Box, Trevor Henry aboard for Paul Reed. 11 starts on the year, 1 victory, $52,000 made.
Another from the Gallucci stable here is Aviator, son of sports writer. He's got $100,000 earned this season. Yannick Gingras looks for his 2nd Super Final win of the night.
And number 10 is Magical Arthur. 7 for 3 on the year for Anthony Beaton. Scott Zirin aboard tonight, 159,000 made, and was one that had won 3 in a row going into his latest.
So that's your field, and the 2 outside starters are a prime example of highly accomplished colts. They've got impressive resumes this season going into tonight, but they are going to be overlooked on the tote board, and a lot of that has to do with post position.
Yeah, I think so. Magical Arthur is actually one that I do like quite a bit tonight to land somewhere on the ticket and get a share of this. And I think just off his recent performances, he merits a lot more respect in here than 8-1 on the board, but that post 10 certainly has something to do with it. You lose Sylvain Filion tonight to Bob Loblaw and Ken Middleton's entry in the race, but I just thought that Magical Arthur is one that's really come into his own as of late. Last time finishing second to Aaron Wood-Eve over that off track at Flamborough Downs, and he's one that I'm looking at to land somewhere on the ticket tonight, and right now 9-1 on the board.
Let's try and find some value. We know the probable favorites as we creep closer to post time here. Where does the value or the potential big price lie?
I think that Magical Arthur right now is that for me at 9-1, and Stonebridge Chilios I think has earned every bit of his 4-5 designation right now. He's been fantastic. That one effort, Greg, earlier in the season when he only won by a head, came from last in a field of 6, was one of the best races I've seen all season long. So I think he's going to be tough to beat in here. You look at like Colby Two-Step at 6-1. That's a pretty good number on a horse that had been racing competitively and even you'd say put in a couple dominant performances against these types earlier in the season. So it's kind of an interesting betting board right now. Again, I'm sticking with Stonebridge Chilios as my top selection, but there's some horses in here that you might want to take a shot at a better price.
Better Have My Money. Let's take a look back. He won at Grand River August 2nd in the Battle of Waterloo. He won by a head that day. He was a $2.80 winner, heavily favored after winning so impressively in his elimination. And I don't think people expected he'd have to work that hard, frankly, to win the final in 52-4. And then a beaten favorite in each of his next 3. And then 2 more starts where he hasn't been able to come back and find the winner's circle. So now, folks have really jumped off of the bandwagon. He's 11-1. What a difference a month or 2 can make.
Pretty sure that if you told me on Industry Day at Grand River when he was standing in the winner's circle that, come Superfinal time, you're going to get 11-1 on him, I'd probably say, well, that's definitely not going to happen. But it's just what's happened since then, right? He's had 5 starts where he's, not been able to find the winner's circle, but he's still been in the mix. It's not like he's been, uncompetitive. So he's one that, we could see jump up and have a big performance here tonight for Nick Colucci and James McDonald.
We're celebrating the best in the provincial program, and that comes in a variety of categories, of course. When you talk leading drivers, trainers, leading stallions as well is something we want to look at. And on the pacing side, it is Better's Delight, no shock. Once again leading the way in overall money winnings in the program with Shadow Play, Sports Writer, Sunshine Beach, and Better Than Cheddar rounding out the top 5 in that category. So, Better Than Cheddar having offspring like Better Have My Money do what they've done this season, really goes a long way in padding those results. And it's been another solid campaign for that guy. He's become a real solid producer here in the province. And it's really deep, right? Like Better's Delight is, he's been the longtime kingpin, no question about it, but you've still got Sports Writer going strong. I would say a bit of a comeback season, if you will, for Sunshine Beach. What do you think?
Definitely. No, yeah, it's been a great year for the sires, and we already saw Better's Delight actually sweep one of the Superfinals so far tonight. And looking ahead here, we've got Sunshine Beach with Stonebridge Chilios, and again, 3-5 on the board from a betting perspective, not one you want to really jump all over to win, but I think the one to beat.
We talked about Better Have My Money. It's another son of Better Than Cheddar that I'm going to go with and try for the mild upset on. It's Colby Two-Step. I thought when he won in 51 and change back in midsummer, he looked as good as any colt in the province at that particular time. He hasn't quite been able to come back and duplicate that, but he's still been pretty good. and if he steps up just ever so slightly tonight, has a chance for the upset. Going to be a good one. 2-year-old colt and gelding pace final. Here's Ken with the call.
It's post time. Field picks up speed. Here they come. Often pacing, good start inside for Aaron Wood-Eve as he charges off the gate. Leaving alongside is Colby two-step, speed far outside from Aviator and from Magical Arthur. Charging out of Sports Box 2, off stride, Aviator. Aviator's made a break. Sports Box is off stride. He was bothered too, it appeared. Going into that first turn, out to grab the lead from the far outside, it's Magical Arthur on top. Racing up in second is Aaron Wood-Eve, then third is Colby, two-step. Dropped in fourth went Stonebridge Helios. Here's a quarter pull move. Was on the attack with Aaron Wood-Eve. 27-4 the opening quarter, and they're into the backstretch. Aaron Wood-Eve takes command. Back into second goes Magical Arthur. Here's Colby two-step, now third outside with Stonebridge Helios tracking cover in a good spot from in fourth, and he'll tip 3 wide right now. Then it's back inside from in fifth to find Better Have My Money. Towards the inside from in sixth, that's Bootlegger Charlie. Then Bob Blah Blah and Century Inspector. Halftime 55-3. Solid speed for the youngsters as they go into the final turn. They're chasing favorite Stonebridge Helios. He's got the racetrack. Second inside to Colby, two-step. Aaron Wood-Eve is third. He'll pop back to the outside. Picking up his cover goes Better Have My Money. Magical Arthur in at the rail. Then we go back to Bootlegger Charlie. Bob Blah Blah and Century Inspector, they're on their way to 3/4, and Stonebridge Helios the one to catch. It's Stonebridge Helios on top. Pressure from Aaron Wood-Eve in second. Back into third, it's Colby two-step. Then outside, Better Have My Money fourth. 3/4 clocked in 124, and they're into the stretch. Still there, Stonebridge Helios. Pressure from Aaron Wood-Eve on the outside. In at the rail in third is Colby two-step. Brushing up late now, trying to find a seam is Magical Arthur. Deep stretch, Stonebridge Helios. Outside is Aaron Wood-Eve. Here comes Magical Arthur and Bob Blah Blah. About time, Bob. Bob Blah Blah rallies by for a super final score in 153.
Well, that's the one we were waiting for, Robert. All night long we've been waiting for that bit of a shocker, that horse to jump up and surprise and do something special. And here it is, Bob Blah Blah. So, Kenny, we know how special it was when he won the Nassagaweya earlier this year, what a thrill it was, and to be calling the race, and I'm guessing this is even next level because it was even likely more unexpected.
I can't even imagine the excitement right now for Ken Middleton. Wow, what a closing effort from Bob Blah Blah. Not something that we've really seen from this one throughout the season, but wow, you actually said to me, you nudged me and said, who's that coming? I looked up and saw Bob Blah Blah, and you can't help but cheer for this horse and Ken Middleton, a friend and a colleague, and done such a great job with this gelding throughout the season. A little bit of tough luck, but it all came together tonight to win the Superfinal.
We were here a couple of weeks ago covering the Metro Pace card, and I actually picked him that night. I said, I think he's as good as these colts if he shows up with his best effort. And the braking issue surfaced again, and he was in a pretty good spot that night when he made the miscue. And obviously they've gone back to the drawing board and got his head back on straight and had him ready to go here tonight. But this guy has high speed, and boy, when he has dead aim on them, that's what he can do.
Yeah, and in the stretch, I mean, you could see he was going to get there and just really, gun them all down. And I didn't really know if he had much of a chance tonight. It was difficult for me to get behind him off the recent breaks and some of the tough luck he's had. But look, there's Ken actually in the winner's circle tonight. Something he doesn't usually do, but I guess on a night like tonight, you got to do it.
Absolutely. So yeah, what a way to cap off the season, because again, he showed the kind of ability he had when he won the Nassagaweya that night, and a nice chunk of change earned on that occasion. And then it's been just disappointment since then. So boy, this has to be exciting for them, and they'll be starting to think ahead to next year and dreaming about bigger and better. But there is a happy Ken Middleton Sylvan filly on it. Sylvan stuck with the colt this season as well. Has done a nice job, and likely, giving Kenny some pointers after those races as to what he thinks might be causing the issues, and working together to try and get him better, because I think they both realize that, when we get this guy firing on all cylinders, he can go with the very best.
Yeah, as a handicapper, I looked at this tonight and said, well, Sylvan had his choice over Magical Arthur or Bob Loblaw, and stuck with the winner here, and I went to actually Magical Arthur as one of my selections and left Bob Loblaw out. So obviously Sylvan, had a feeling this one might be sitting on a big effort, and that other option he had finished second. So kind of interesting how it all works, but what a win, and so happy for Ken Middleton and his partnership group. He's really an ambassador for the sport, and he didn't need partners on these horses, but he decided, I want to bring some people in that might want to come in and enjoy the game and see the owning side of it.
Yes, congratulations, Dave Walls, our buddy from Sarnia, Ontario, James Grant, and the Starting Center Stables, all part of the ownership group here. And Kenny training this guy. He's a homebred. Kenny campaigned the mare, Lady Marina, back in the day. She was a pretty good one on the racetrack. A career maybe cut a little bit short, but so far looking good in the breeding ranks. And this son of Sunshine Beach, another feather in the cap of that stallion this year in the OSS program. High speed individual tonight. Was able to keep it all together, just sit back and let others do the work, and picks up all the pieces. A little over $200,000 now, his bankroll for the 2021 season. Going to give Kenny a few bullets to maybe hit the fall sales with now, maybe Harrisburg, somewhere like that, and try and reload for 2022.
For sure. Ken's one of the best race callers in the entire sport of horse racing, but also a very good trainer. So I think we're going to see some of this money put to use to fill the stable for next season.
Bob Loblaw taking home the Ontario Sire Stakes Championship blanket. And a look at the winning connections, getting their photographs taken. We'll hear from them in a moment. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll update you on the pari-mutuel details, which are exciting, and we'll hear some winning words next.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out HPIBet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Sylvan, we'll give you some credit as well, but I want to talk about the decision. You got off of a horse in Magical Arthur that's been racing fantastic, and I think that just goes to show the confidence you had in this colt.
Absolutely. I knew if he could stay at it, he's probably one of the best ones in the bunch, and I had confidence in him, and it worked out.
All right, well, congratulations. Enjoy this latest Super Final victory. As we bring in the man of the hour, Ken Middleton. Look at him, still posing for pictures. Well, he's a popular man. Kenny, I don't know if you had that fireman pole. You were down here in a hurry from upstairs.
I'll tell you what, when you, yeah, it's a test of speed coming down. Going up is going to be the challenge.
Did you feel better coming into this race that you had this horse ready to roll, that he was going to get through this mile tonight?
You know what, there was only one start this year where I really had a little bit of trepidation going into a race, and that was after the Battle of Waterloo. We got a little bit sick. It's really been frustrating. I haven't been able to pinpoint why exactly he was making breaks. You don't want to go out and make a bunch of changes. In all honesty, I thought he made breaks for 3 different reasons in those 3 different races. The Champlain, I thought he was pinching somewhere. The next start was the Metro. I think he just got claustrophobic in behind all those horses. There was just an army of horses on the track that night, and he was in a bad spot as far as the kind of horse he is. And the Flamborough, you know, on the sloppy track there, it was hard as a rock that night. It was just a bad track. So not to make excuses, but I've been busting my hump trying to get him back, and here he is.
We know you as a man behind the scenes always through the years, analyzing races like this, calling races like this, doing interviews like I'm doing just now. But now to be on this side of it and enjoying the success you're having with friends of yours, maybe just sum up how that feels.
Well, that's kind of what I want to do. I took it upon myself to make it a goal. We all have goals here at Woodbine Entertainment. Mine was to bring more people in the industry. There's a lot of people that are curious about getting involved in horse ownership. You can do it on a big scale. You can do it on a small scale. The stable.ca proved that, and since other people have done that. So I've made it kind of a goal of mine to try and bring in some great people and enjoy, you know, this great sport, because it really is fun. It's fun whether you're sitting in the grandstand eating a hamburger or betting a couple bucks, or getting involved in horse ownership and doing the same thing. So I'd encourage everybody. Now's the time of year. All the yearlings are selling right now. So if you're ever curious about getting involved, now's the time to do it.
What about your buddy Bill Galvin? What would he be saying right now?
He'd be saying, great work, buddy. We are great friends, great partners. I miss him dearly. This is a race for him. I miss my dad, too. He'd be proud of me. My mom's at home. She's one of the backbones of my success. I love her dearly, and I thank her for all her help. Becky Rose, my niece. I've got a great blacksmith in Jeff Boyd. I've got great vets in Dr. John Hennessy and Dr. Ian Moore. Rob McKenzie is another guy who helped me break my colts this year and train them down. So did my partner, Jeff Seibel. And I've taken on other partners. My brother got involved. Dave Walls, who calls the races at Hiawatha Horse Park, and one of his buddies, James Grant. It's been a great ride, a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations. I'm proud of you too, buddy. Enjoy it.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, there's Ken Middleton and his team. Congratulations to them. Bob Loblaw capturing the 2-year-old Colton Gelding OSS Superfinal.
All right, our colleague Kenny Middleton is all smiles. And if you backed Bob Loblaw at the windows tonight, you will be all smiles as well. Time for a look at the pari-mutuel details. The winner kicks back $77.20 for the win. The exactor more than $1,000. A dollar try at $1,800 and change. And check out the Superfecta $1 ticket, more than $8,090. So big smiles all the way around. Rob, we watched the replay again, wanted to watch it closely, looking at Bob Loblaw, seeing where he came from in the final quarter. And when you look at it, it's amazing where he came from, how wide he had to go on the stretch, and how much ground he made up against the best colts in the province.
Yeah, in that last turn, we picked him up in the last turn there and said, well, how does he win? Even though we knew the result, we still had to watch it again, and he just angled out and got clear racetrack and just, you know, paced past them all. And it was a real impressive late brush, and something that I wasn't too sure that Bob Loblaw had in him. He's usually been one that's been closer to the pace throughout this season, but I guess, you know, Sylvan knew what to do tonight with him, and he showed it in the stretch there. And listen, Ken Middleton, you know, seeing him that happy, just a beautiful sight in the winner's circle, just beaming, you know, with a huge smile. And I know he's super proud of his horse. And in the race call, he said, "Finally, Bob," because I mean, really, throughout this season, he could have had a lot more victories without some of that bad luck he's had.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he's probably left a little bit of money on the table, but I don't think that diminishes from the colt at all, and I don't think it diminishes the excitement that they have and how proud they are of him, because they know what they have when they get everything just so with this colt. He is the type that can really play at the top level, so excitement will abound as they approach the off season with Bob Loblaw and look ahead to next year. But we've got plenty of more Superfinal action to come here this evening. We're going to switch gears next and go back to the trot, and we're looking at the 2-year-old colt and gelding trotters, and another superstar of the provincial program will be the headliner here. His name is Duly Resolved. He's done very little wrong this year. He's been no worse than second in all 9 trips postward.
Yeah, another one too that has competed against the best on both sides of the border and held his own. Just missed by a short margin in the Mohawk Million. Almost got to Venerable late in the mile, and Duly Resolved I think has just been fantastic throughout the season. We actually got to see him qualify in the baby races earlier in the season on the broadcast here with COSA-TV, and we noticed him on that occasion being a real strapping son of resolve and really been able to put it all together, and hasn't swept through and won all of his starts, but like you said, Greg, no worse than second and 9 so far, over $560,000 in the bank, and clearly the one to beat tonight.
So we're going to meet them on post parade, and following the post parade, I believe we're going to have a look back at his effort in the Mohawk Million. He didn't win on that night, but it was one of his best efforts of the campaign, and a very lucrative payday as well. We got the call to the post with the bugler on track here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and yeah, the wind has really died down here, and it's ended up being a pretty nice night, all things considered. We're going to be glad to get inside later and warm up, no question, but hey, we are enjoying the action so far, and watching these youngsters put on a show for us tonight. It's Ontario's Sire Stakes Super Final night, and here's the field for that 2-year-old colt and gelding trot with Duly Resolved, the race favorite. Oh, we're getting some tea dropped off. This is fantastic.
This is amazing.
Perfect timing. There's Duly Resolved for Team Bax, the Bax stable, and John Bax trains, and Paul McDonnell driving. 5 wins, 4 second-place finishes, $567,000 on his card.
Number 2 is Kipper, Whipper, Snipper. Louis-Philippe Waugh drives. Rob Fellows, the trainer. 4 out of 7 in the money. 2 victories, almost $80,000 in the bank.
Number 3, Safe Conduct. Camilla Christoforou trains. Husband Chris does the driving. And Charlumbos, Chris Sr. is the owner of this one, or co-owner. One-time winner, has shown real flashes of brilliance. $37,000 made and a 55-1 record.
Number 4 is Twinbee Archie. James McDonald aboard for Scott McEnany. 3 victories out of 9 on the season, $172,000 in the bank.
Explosion, number 5, Trevor Henry will drive for trainer Meg Crone. 2 wins, $170,000 banked this year for the son of Cadabra.
Number 6 is Luca Hanover. Sylvain Fillion aboard for Francis Dumichel. 2 victories out of 7 starts, almost $70,000 in the bank.
Star Power Hanover, sent out by Determination and trainer Luke Blay. Bob McClure drives. This son of Wheelan and Dealing, a one-time winner with $108,000 on his card.
Number 8, Drinks at Home. Scott Young gets the call for Luke Blay and Determination. He's the younger brother of Macho Martini. 1 victory out of 8 starts, $64,000 in earnings.
Billy Budd trainee, Mr. Fritters, number 9, Doug McNair driving. Just 1 win in 11 this year, but he has $100,000 earned.
Number 10 is Red Overbach. This is a chestnut son of royalty for life. Jody Jameson aboard for his father, Carl Jameson. 2 victories out of 9 starts, nearly $76,000 in the bank.
All right, that's your field. Race number 8 upcoming, brought to you by Tim Hortons Steep Tea. Perfect timing. It's going to get us through the rest of the night here. And there is a look at Duly Resolved, the race favorite. As we mentioned, he turned in a huge effort and really gave the local fans a big thrill in the Mohawk Million, 2nd edition of that. That was contested here September 25th. Let's take a look back at Duly Resolved chasing the great Venerable to the finish.
Wind domino, it's just mild pressure at best though. Duly Resolved rides a pocket trip from McDonnell. Then on cover 4th is Dover in Motion. 5th inside in the turn is the Mighty Hill. 6th overland is Star Power Hanover. Then towards the inside is Valentina Blue, King of the North. And at the rail, Selfie Queen. 3/4, Miller's got them all in the palm of his hand. Here is Venerable. Trots to 3/4 in just 1:26-1. That was a 29-3 piece of cake 3rd quarter for Venerable as she comes into the stretch. Venerable the one to catch. Duly Resolved in the pocket spot now. He'll get a clear lane late for McDonald. Venerable, the one he's trying to track down. Duly Resolved is up and driving. Venerable at the rail. Duly Resolved on the outside, giving it his best. Venerable at the inside. Duly Resolved is closing in. Venerable leads the line at the inside. Venerable holds on to win by a head over a dead game.
That was a look back at a thrilling second edition of the Mohawk Million, a race that we understand is going to be back again next year, and that's exciting. Really one of those unique events that's captivated the sport. And Venerable, it was great to see the filly win, remain undefeated, and the local horse Duly Resolved was just that close to winning the richest race for trotters in North America. So based on that, he's the standout, and based on what we've seen for the most part tonight, the favorites have been doing well. We'll take a look now at the OSS leaders in terms of trotting stallions for the 2021 season, and not surprising, Muscle Mass tops once again, already with a winning credit under his belt. Archangel, though, we talked about the impact he's starting to have now on Ontario, and swept the top 3 placings tonight in the 3-year-old colt trot.
Yeah, for me though, Resolve, we made note of all the good-looking, Resolve trotters on a broadcast we had with the baby race early in the season, Greg, and they've really impressed me. And Duly Resolved has lived up to every bit of expectation off of how he looked early on in the season. So I think Resolve is one we're going to hear a lot from going forward.
Again, we want to welcome everybody tuning in here this evening to our live coverage on COSA-TV. It's Super Final night from Woodbine Mohawk Park, our final show of the season. And for those who are just tuning in, be sure to drop us a line, because everyone who does so tonight automatically entered for the drawing following the show for the 2 sets of driver colors that we're giving away this evening. Compliments of drivers Trevor Henry and Bob McClure. And a reminder as well that we're going to be announcing the winner coming up very shortly of the OSS prize pack that we are giving away as well. Thank you to the folks at the Ontario Sire Stakes, working hard the last few weeks. We had the Prospects Finals at Grand River Raceway, then we had the Grassroots Finals here last week, and Super Finals here tonight. So it's a busy stretch for them. It's been another stellar year in the Ontario Sire Stakes, and we're proud to be a part of it, and proud to be a part of the live coverage here this evening. They're getting set to go. 1-2 on Duly Resolved. Who do you play underneath?
Yeah, I like Twinbee Archie, the second favorite underneath. James McDonald's done nothing wrong this season and tonight so far, but if you're looking for a price, maybe number 3, Safe Conduct. Won a gold in just his second career lifetime start, and I think might be one you want to have on the bottom end of your exotics tonight. Very impressive in that effort, and more lightly raced than some others in the field, but I think that Chris Christopher was able to work out the right trip for this one.
I think you're right. A real project to try and get him to replicate what we've seen from him in past races. But if he shows up tonight with his A game, has the potential, I think, to surprise here. Star Power Hanover, the number 7, I think fits the same bill for me, for the combination of Luke Blais and Bob McClure, and a post-7 start. So can Duly Resolved continue his dream rookie season? We'll find out next. And Ken Middleton, just coming off a cloud 9, has got the call of the 8th race.
Million. Solid runner-up in the William Wellwood Memorial. On a break behind the gate is 3, Safe Conduct. Safe Conduct 3 has made a miscue. Gate swings into the stretch. Time for the Super Final for the 2-year-old trotting colts and geldings. Here they come. Off and trotting from the outside, firing is Mr. Fritter. Leaving in the center, Luca Hanover. There at the inside is Twinbee Archie from the rail, duly resolved in no hurry in the early going. McDonald will just size them up. There outside is Red Overbach now into fifth. Sixth inside to Kipper, Whipper, Snipper. Further back to Explosion, then Star Power Hanover. Drinks at Home is racing up in ninth, and Safe Conduct plays catch up from back in 10th. Into that turn they go, and up front it's Mr. Fritter. Under attack is Twinbee Archie, sweeps by. Dropped in third goes Luca Hanover. Then duly resolved is fourth at a quarter of 28 and 4. Red Overbach was stuffed into an early 5-hole. Kipper Whipper Snipper tracked by Explosion. Then Star Power Hanover. Drinks at Home, and the trailer in the backfield, Safe Conduct, has caught the group as they near the midway point. And McDonald pulls the trigger, duly resolved, out of fourth, quickly to third, then second, and now he's powering up to grab the lead as Twinbee Archie passes the baton to Duly Resolved, who takes command now for McDonald. Duly Resolved, the leader right at the half in 57 and 4. Back to second goes Twinbee Archie. Then Mr. Fritter and Luca Hanover, 2.5 lengths back now. Red Overbach. Here outside comes Kipper, Whipper, Snipper on the move. Going to track his cover is Explosion. Star Power Hanover scooting up the rail goes Drinks at Home, and Safe Conduct is last. They come to three quarters chasing Duly Resolved. Heck of a trip for Twinbee Archie in the pocket spot. Third inside to Mr. Fritter. Then Kipper, Whipper, Snipper on the move out of fourth. Then there goes McDonald popping in the pocket as Twinbee Archie will try and come after Duly Resolved, who's put up three quarters in 1:26 and 3 for McDonald. Duly Resolved under the gun as Twinbee Archie's coming on. Twinbee Archie on the outside rolls by. Duly Resolved is back into second. Then third is Mr. Fritter, Kipper, Whipper Snipper, and Explosion. They're in deep stretch, and it's Twinbee Archie. And what a super final night for McDonald as he scores the super final hat trick, winning off the pocket trip with Twinbee Archie in 1:55 and 3.
James McDonald weaving more of his Ontario Sire Stakes magic tonight. He's going to be taking home his first ever Lampman Cup title as top driver in the provincial program, and he's capping it off in style this evening. Multiple super final victories. This one maybe not as expected coming into the night, but Twinbee Archie from a textbook two-hole trip converts and is a super final champion.
Yeah, what a year to be James McDonald, but I mean it's his doing, right? I mean, another perfect trip there for Twinbee Archie. You can't get a better trip, sitting the two-hole behind the big favorite, and I did not expect him to actually come on and beat Duly Resolved that easily. I thought that he had a good chance to be second, to that heavy favorite in here, but what an effort from Twinbee Archie. One that, tipped his cap throughout the tipped his hand throughout the season with victories at the gold level in the Champlain, and one that certainly came up with his best effort here this evening to win going away, Greg.
A winner last time at Flamborough Downs in a gold contest there in 57 and 1, and he won in dominant fashion on that occasion, so perhaps was hinting that he was up to doing what he did tonight. And really little doubt from about the halfway point of the home stretch in, he was clearly the best on this evening.
And it wasn't a poor effort from Duly Resolved. He ends up finishing, as the runner-up, and maybe we would have expected him to, put up a bigger fight. But I think it might just be a testament to how good Twinbee Archie was, and certainly, one that was given a trip to be brave from. And throughout the season, Twinbee Archie, 7 out of 9, in the top 3. 3 victories, 2 at the gold level, and 1 in the Champlain. So it's not like he's a big shock by any stretch here, but surprised that he handled Duly Resolved that easily.
Trained by Scott McEnany, and somewhat ironic, Scott, the former trainer of the Great Bettor's Delight, the most prolific pacing stallion in Ontario, and showing his prowess with the trotters here as well. And he's a part owner of this one with Dominic Charavelli, along with Floyd Marshall and the Mart West Racing Stables. So a nice addition to the bankroll there, and will put him up close to the $300,000 mark, and another winning credit tonight for trotting stallion Archangel. Getting a look now at the connections celebrating James McDonald. A familiar face in our Woodbine Mohawk Park Winners Enclosure this evening. He's been there a few times this season, And again, we're talking about it. It's time to start looking ahead to the O'Brien Awards, year-end honors. I think we've seen really the coronation of some of the champions tonight that we can expect to see when that hardware is handed out. And I believe many feel right now, I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion, but I think you would have to agree a heavy front runner at this point is James McDonald, the kind of storybook season that drivers dream about.
Yeah, I look at it, and right now I think if you had to pick one, it'd have to be James with a bullet for sure, because it's just been an incredible year, start to finish, and you know, look at tonight. He's won 3 of 6 of these Superfinals so far, Greg, and he's got 2 more to go and a chance in each of those races. So we might not be done talking about James in the winner's circle on this OSS Gold Superfinal night.
4th winner this season, or 4th trip to the winner's circle this season for Twin B Archie. We'll get a look at him heading back to the paddock for, I'm sure, a well-deserved bath, a little bit of R&R, and we'll hear from the winning connections in a moment. Might get a glimpse as to what is left, if anything, this season. We're getting late into the campaign now, and there'll be a handful, again, that will be perhaps looking at the Breeders' Crown beyond tonight, but many will likely be getting some well-deserved time off, and will start to look ahead to next season. There's Scott McEnany right beside James McDonald and his happy ownership group. Congratulations to all of them. Got 2 more Superfinal events left to go here this evening. We're going to check in on prices in a moment, so we will take a quick commercial. We'll come back, we'll have those prices for you, and get some words from those winning connections. Welcome back. You're watching live coverage of Superfinal night on COSA-TV. Let's quickly give you the prices from that 8th race. Mild upset, Twin B Archie returning $8 or $9.60 on the win ticket return. Here's a quick look at the prices, and right now we're going to head over and hear from winning driver James McDonald.
There's a lot in there. I just haven't been able to get any of it out of him training. So, you know, I'm hoping he'll get better as the year goes on, or maybe I think he said he'll even be a better aged horse. But, you know, it took him a couple qualifiers, and, you know, just as the year got on, he got stronger and stronger and stronger. And at Flamborough, you know, I think you saw the real horse. You know, he showed up, he was able to cut it, and then like he just blew them away, track record, you know, and that's just the kind of horse he is, and I'm really proud of him.
We saw you peek over your shoulder in the backstretch there, awaiting McDonald's move. Probably exactly just what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I had followed him, I don't think either one of the horses were on their best game. Mac's horse was a little light, and my horse felt like he was going to go by, and then he ended up scoping really sick. So I thought if I was going to beat him, his back would probably be the best way to do it, because he's such a good horse. I mean, everyone saw him just about win the Mohawk Million, and you know, he's a great horse, and you know, just my horse got the better of him tonight, and hopefully they'll battle it out again next year.
Last year you celebrated your very first Superfinal victory with Dashing Muscle. Now this year, obviously coming in, you'd be disappointed if you didn't end tonight with some good results. But the horses still have to perform. You've now got 3 Superfinal wins tonight. How does it feel, man?
Oh, it's amazing. I look at the program and you say, geez, I got a good lineup tonight. And just like you said, you need the horses to show up. You need the trips to work out. You know, sometimes they make breaks behind the gate. People make breaks in front of you. So it takes a lot to have a night like this to go right. And, you know, I've been really fortunate. Everything's gone right. And, you know, hopefully it's not done. I can get another one.
Congrats on such a big year, buddy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's bring in Scott McEnany, trainer and co-owner of this talented colt, and Twinbee Archie here. What were you feeling coming down the lane, knowing the one you were trying to chase down?
I thought he had a good shot. I was glad he got out early, not getting locked in, and he gets a little excited when he's in a hole, and James, he can shut his wind off kind of easy, so I was glad he kind of got him out and got him going, and he had a really good week. He was sick about a month ago, and he was really good at Flamborough last 2 weeks ago, but he was just as good tonight.
I know you told me before he's kind of tested your patience right from day one, but when you get results like this, it's a little easier to handle, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like a big kid with ADD, this guy. You got to keep on your toes. My daughter's done a great job with this horse. She loves him, and she works hard on him, and she deserves all the credit on this horse.
What can you say about the group that's involved with him?
Oh, they're a great group. I've known Dominic Chiaravelli since I was 15, and I'm just glad I got to get him a good horse.
Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, there's Scott McEnany. He's going to celebrate an OSS Superfinal win with Twinbee Archie, who upsets duly resolved in the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Superfinal.
Nice to hear from both the winning connections, James McDonald, Scott McEnany. Samantha McEnany, the caretaker for Twinbee Archie, he talked about the job she's done. Donna Males pointing out on our Facebook feed that she was impressed with the caretaker and the job getting back into the winner's circle. So yeah, congratulations to all of the team, and it really takes a team, right, to keep these horses on top of their game all season long and have them ready for these big races to perform at their highest level. What a tilt we've got coming up. Still 2 more Superfinals to come, and this is one of the main events we are looking forward to. This division has been fun to watch all season long, star-studded. A little bit down on numbers at this point in the season, but we've got the big 3, if you will, are still here. Bulldog Hanover, Power Train, Desperate Man, and hey, let's not take anything away from the other 3 very nice colts in their own right.
Yeah, it's a short field, Greg, but it certainly packs a powerful punch, doesn't it? I mean, you've got the North America Cup winner in here in Desperate Man. You've got the Now horse really in Power Train. It's been really turning some heads with his recent efforts, and Bulldog Hanover looking for redemption, and I think that there's a good chance he gets it tonight. I love the way he looked in the final gold division of the season. Didn't get the victory, finished second to Power Train on that occasion, but these 3 horses here tonight, I mean, it's going to be great to see them, showdown for the big finale to the OSS Gold program.
Yeah, they've really been taking their turns all season long and having their moments in the spotlight. Let's give you a look back at a couple of the key victories from earlier this season, and we'll begin with Bulldog Hanover and show you his impressive gold win here at Mohawk Park earlier in the season in a bulky 12-horse field. And we're going to show you how Desperate Man, his arch rival in the OSS, was able to get the best of him and the best of the top colts in North America in the $1 million Pepsi North America Cup.
In early traffic back there, Better of the West. Further back, Jimmy Connor B, 3/4 of a mile, 1:22 and 3. Pialazzi, Lawless Shadow alongside Bulldog Hanover. A bunch of them brushing up off cover from the backfield, including Better Sun. Even wider, Second Bruiser, Desperate Man. Jimmy Connor B, wild finish. Bulldog Hanover to the front. Down the center, Better Sun. Scooting up the inside lane is Power Train. They're in deep stretch. Bulldog Hanover is almost there. Outside in second, Better Sun. It's Bulldog Hanover with a bounce back OSS Gold score. Power Train shot through late to get second in 150. Way to the beach. 6th inside Jimmy Connor B. 7th and overland is Better Sun. Then it's a Buckabet Hanover. 3/4 of a mile, 1:22. 26 and 4. A big E-size 3rd quarter there. And it's Bulldog Hanover coming into the stretch. Perfect sting from first over. Rocky Road Hanover in the pocket spot. Still there at the rail is Bulldog Hanover. Perfect sting. Off cover, Desperate Man. And it's Desperate Man pacing up late for Henry coming on. Desperate Man on the far outside. Desperate Man. There's no desperation in those strides. He's a Pepsi North America Cup winner, and he scores in 1:49 and 3. Desperate Man.
And there they are, the big guns getting ready to go for race number 9. The Glamour Boy division of the Ontario Sire Stakes program. And some of the most accomplished individuals, not only in Ontario, but in the sport, as we saw there. Desperate Man earlier this year, winning Canada's biggest race, the Pepsi North America Cup, for a purse of $1 million. Going to be a lot of fun to watch them go head-to-head again here tonight. Speaking of Desperate Man, we heard earlier this week, going to be a big party tomorrow in Arthur. They've planned a celebration to honor his Pepsi NA Cup win, and probably a busy few weeks, and just kind of wanted to wait till this was behind them, and they're doing that. So Shannon Henry was by earlier. She said the party will likely start around 9 o'clock tonight and go right into tomorrow. So they're gonna do it up right, and wonderful that they're going to be able to all celebrate with the hometown fans there. But you know they'd love to add a super final title to really beef up that resume. And you know, there'll be some implications here, Robert. If he were to win that tonight with a Pepsi NA Cup title, he's going to get serious consideration for an O'Brien Award himself.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's only got 2 victories coming into this, but one came on the biggest stage in the North America Cup. The other came in a gold, where he got the better of Lawless Shadow and Bulldog Hanover. And now, obviously, an exclamation point with the super final would have to put him into contention and winning in all those big spots.
And Bulldog Hanover, conversely, a win, getting back on track with a big win, would be good for his resume. He's one that I believe has sights potentially set on the Breeders' Crown. That will be really intriguing. He hasn't ventured outside the province this season, so if he were to go down there and test the waters and see how he stacks up. And yeah, still a lot of drama to play out here over the last couple of months of the racing season. They're heading their way out to the racetrack now for the 3-year-old colt and gelding Pace next, another $225,000 purse. And perhaps we'll give you right now a look at the division leaders in the category just before we meet the field. And in the division, again, it's been kind of a toss-up for a lot of the season, but Bulldog Hanover had been the most consistent, if you will. Desperate Man, second Bruiser, who we don't see here at this late stage of the season, but Powertrain and Century Heineken, who did fill out the top 5. They are competing tonight, and the good news is, with a field of 6, you know, most of them are going to take home a nice check tonight. Let's meet the field now. Number 1, Twin Bee Heartthrob. Todd Ratchford training this one for a numbered company of Ontario. 2 wins, $56,000 on the card. Can James McDonald find some more magic here?
Number 2 is Century Heineken for Chris Christoforou and Greg McNair. 4 wins out of 12 starts in the year, under $90,000 made.
Number 3, Bulldog Hanover, enjoying an excellent campaign, a $441,000 season, 6 for 10. Jack Darling training, Jody Jameson back in the bike.
Number 4 is Powertrain, Sylvain filling aboard. Nick Galucci, the trainer for Millar Farms. He's got 2 consecutive victories, last time in a gold, 5 wins in the season, $174,000 in the bank.
Another son of Shadow Play, Desperate Man, number 5. $655,000 on his card this year for the Chikeen family. Kathy Chikeen trains. Trevor Henry doing the driving.
Number 6 is Better Son. Doug McNair aboard for his father, Greg McNair. 3 wins out of 15 starts in the season. Hit the board in 8 of those efforts and just over $125,000 in earnings.
Star-studded field of 6, just moments away from post time. And for Bulldog Hanover, he was simply rolling along going into the North America Cup final. He had rattled off 4 consecutive wins, including a dominant tally in his elimination, but finished 4th in the final and then beaten in a subsequent gold event here on September 25th. So he's lost 2 in a row coming in. A little bit of adversity for the colt. We'll find out what Jody Jameson, his driver, thinks. Earlier tonight, he caught up with Tony.
I'm joined by driver Jody Jameson. Jody, this is always a fantastic night on the racing calendar, and obviously you've participated in quite a few of these, and what does it mean to always be a regular participant?
Well, traditionally I haven't really had the greatest of nights on Super Final night, but last year I got a chance to win one, and You know, I'm looking for the same, just one win away from happiness at all times, Tony.
Yeah, and over race number 9, Bulldog Hanover has been outstanding so far this season. He's won with a 12-horse race to get a 6-horse field tonight. How does your approach change with such a versatile horse like this?
Well, it just depends. You know, we hit a little roadblock there in the North America Cup, which was pretty devastating to all the connections, I think, and anyone that was cheering for him. But he came back and raced really well his next start, and I'm expecting a big start again. So it'll just depend what happens behind the gate and see how the race goes. I expect Powertrain will be probably close to the lead, and we're just going to have to probably gun him down.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be a fantastic race, and it always is for the Glamour Boys, and we wish you luck in that race and throughout the entire night.
Thanks a lot.
So Jody sounds confident with the colt, and I think there's reason to be. He was upended in his last start, but he did pace home in 53 seconds, rallied from 6th to just miss and finish 2nd. So should set him up well for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think after some really tough efforts throughout the season, and then, you know, obviously getting beat as the favorite in the North America Cup, finishing 4th in that one after racing on the front end, I think he needed a bravening trip, and that's exactly what he got. And he didn't miss by much. He was quite a ways out of it, and ended up finishing 2nd, beating just 3/4 of a length, 2 Powertrain, and, you know, came home in 53 seconds flat. And I think he should be feeling pretty good coming into this effort. And you know, 7-5 on the board right now. I thought Bulldog Hanover would be the favorite. I really did. Powertrain right now at even money. He's done nothing wrong in his last couple. He's been a dominant force, and, you know, maybe a fresher face coming into this. But for me, he's my second selection. I think Bulldog gets it done.
And this race could also be considered a showcase for Stallion Shadow Play. The big 3 in here, all sired by that great Bulldog Hanover, Powertrain, and Desperate Man, the 3 that we've talked a lot about. Let's talk a bit about Powertrain. He'd been certainly in the ballpark of competing with these horses earlier in the season, and I would say in his last 3 he's kind of flipped the switch and hit another gear.
Yeah, he definitely has. You know, that effort on North America Cup night, the 3-year-old Open, went the second faster in the North America Cup. So that was just an incredible effort on that occasion. And then last time, you know, doubling up and winning in the OSS Gold. This is a horse that he paced in, you know, in 49 in his second lifetime start. So one that certainly has all kinds of ability. And now, you know, we're seeing him, you know, put it all together. With a couple of real strong performances. So I think if you look at this field, you say he is the now horse. You know, he is the horse that's in top form right now, and I think he's going to be one to catch in here. And he's going to go right to the front and try to make every call a winning one. And, you know, favoritism just actually flipped, Greg. Bulldog Hanover now even money, Powertrain 7-5.
And let's not forget about Desperate Man. You have to consider that he's in a spot here where with 6 horses, there's 2 ways to look at it. He's not going to be that far out of it, a chance to utilize the closing kick. On the other hand, there might not be that battling that he needs up front to soften up the leaders and give him that opportunity to pounce. Last time he threw in his race against tough older horses, paced home in 25 and 4, came from a long way back, and good primer to get him ready for tonight as well.
Yeah, it was a great tune-up race for this evening's contest, and, you know, now bet down to 2-1, but still the third choice. And kind of wild to think, isn't it, Greg, that the winner of the North America Cup right now is the third choice here in the OSS Superfinal for the Glamour Boy division.
Just moments away here from race number 9 as we see the starting gate getting ready to move into position. So not surprising that favoritism pretty close between the 3 that we talked about. You've got to think the other horses in the field are hoping to get a good result, sneak in for you know, that top 3 finish perhaps. I'm sure they would be elated. Which one of the others in the field do you think offers the best chance to do that?
I went with Better Sun as my 4th choice in the field. I think that you know, he's put together a pretty decent season, and he's capable of, you know, sticking around with these types of horses. So he's 46-1 on the board right now. The lowest price of the other 3 is 33-1 on number 1 Twinbee Heartthrob, but I think Better Sun might have the best chance to sneak into the trifecta or land on the Super.
The starting gate underway. 3-year-old colt and gelding pace in the Ontario Sire Stakes Superfinals. An excellent 6-pack lining up for $225,000. Once again, here's Ken Middleton.
Superfinal, 3-year-old pacing Colton Gelding division. And what a division it's been. Can't recall a deeper division than this in recent years. For that matters, recent decades. An absolutely wicked group. 4-5 and number 3, Bulldog Hanover. Second in the most recent gold. 2-1 on the 4, Powertrain. The 5, Desperate Man at 2-1. Big boys set for a start. Often pacing. Filion is going to let the big train roll off the gate. Powertrain out to grab the lead. Everybody else takes back. Twin B Heartthrob releases Powertrain. Powertrain made the lead as easily as he could. Powertrain crawling them to the quarter. Back into second is Twin B Heartthrob. Now third outside, Bulldog Hanover. Jameson pressing forward with him. Back in fourth is Century Heineken. Desperate Man. Better Son of Train. Opening quarter speed, they're there, 27-4. And Powertrain has got the hammer down. Bulldog Hanover on the outside. He'll be fortunate to drop to pocket, and he got it. Twin B Heartthrob is backed off into third as he gapped. Then Century Heineken, followed by Desperate Man, and 3 to Better Son. So 3/8 of a mile in the books, and Powertrain's going to be tough to catch here. He's got away with an easy first 3/8 of the mile, and he'll take them up to the half, and he's got them all right where he wants them. Bulldog Hanover in the pocket. Halftime is 55 flat. Twin B Heartthrob is third. Desperate Man is underway fourth outside, marching now. Back in, and Better Son is underway from the back of the bus. Powertrain rolling into the final 3/8 of the mile now. He's got it by a length and a half. Desperate Man is second outside. Bulldog Hanover inside from in third. Starts to gap there on that turn. Fourth outside, Better Son. Then inside, Twin B Heartthrob. Century Heineken trails. 3/4 in 1, 22-1. 27-1 that third quarter. Powertrain into the stretch. Tested by Desperate Man. And it's Desperate Man, the Pepsi North America Cup champ, up to rattle Powertrain's chain at the top of the stretch. Desperate Man to the front, draws clear by 2. Late speed from Bulldog Hanover. Powertrain not tonight. It's Desperate Man. Desperate Man, a Superfinal champ, won it by a length. Bulldog Hanover, then Powertrain, followed by Better Son in 1:49-3.
Well, tonight it's Desperate Man once again taking his position atop the division. And here he is again winning it the hard way. First over into a pretty decent opening half mile, but you know, they certainly weren't coming back to him in the final half. He had to go and get it. That's exactly what he did, and he's got that huge final quarter kick to him that he's been able to utilize so effectively all season long, and tonight adds a super final title to his resume, and that's going to go a long way, I'm sure, when year-end honors are handed out.
Yeah, you know, Desperate Man, I mean, when the chips are down, you want to have your money on this one, because winner of the North America Cup, just one gold win throughout the season. It came at Georgian Downs in impressive fashion, though, and now gets it done in the super finals tonight. You know, just an incredible effort, really. You know, first over and you know, cutting into a real, you know, quick part of the mile again, right? He shows that he can withstand wicked second halves and big, you know, final quarters. And, you know, Bulldog Hanover, I think Jody wanted to get to the front, got put back into the 2-hole there, and really, you know, had every chance to run him down, and he couldn't get to him. So nice effort from Bulldog Hanover to still claim the place spot. But you can't take anything away from Desperate Man, and an incredible victory in the North America Cup, and comes right back and wins the Super Final.
A really interesting tactical race. You had Powertrain going to the front as expected. It looked like Jody was electing to just ease off the gate, but then made the decision that, you know what, he didn't want Powertrain to get too far away from him, and Sylvan putting him back into the 2-hole was interesting, and maybe that created just enough first half speed to allow Desperate Man to get up into it. But you could tell the way he was moving on the last turn that they were going to have their work cut out for them trying to hold him off in that final quarter.
Yeah, I think Jody's decision was made for him when, you know, they're going to the quarter in 27-4. If he ever just sits back off them, Powertrain gets the waltz to the half, it would have been tough to catch that one. So I think he had no choice but to press on and be a part of the early mix. And then, yeah, like you said, Greg, that kind of set up the bigger fractions through the middle half of the race. And and gave Desperate Man every chance he had then to come first over and beat them. But I think he raced well enough tonight to say that it really didn't matter. The fractions, I don't think. I think that, he just was, another one that was ready to rumble when the big money was on the line, and nice effort and steer really from Trevor Henry once again.
So another 100,000 plus going into the coffers for Desperate Man. It pushes him up close to the $800,000 mark in seasonal earnings, and with the victory is now just dollars shy, literally dollars shy of the $1 million mark. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure they'll want to race him once or twice more and maybe try and hit that milestone this season. But when you think, O'Brien Award winners now, Desperate Man in the 3-year-old pacing category, already I think would have been certainly strongly in the conversation, but this victory tonight could go a long way in that regard.
Yeah, and that party just got a lot more fun tomorrow, didn't it?
We might have to slide through Arthur on the way home tonight, because I think it was going to be a great party anyway, and this is just going to make it that much better. And it's kind of one of those good stories that I think has really taken on steam since the North America Cup, and I think the whole community around that area has kind of rallied behind this horse and got behind the story, and it's good to see. That's what's good for the game. We've seen that earlier tonight with our colleague Ken Middleton, a popular win, and these are the good storylines that make nights like this so much fun.
Yeah, just pure elation in that winner's circle right now too. Much, very emotional a North American Cup night, and this race, I guess, really would just be the icing on the cake. You win the premier event in North America for 3-year-old, colts and geldings. I think that this one doesn't, you don't take away from the prestige and honor of winning this race, but it's certainly icing on the cake for the connections, and like we just said, that party now is going to be a little more lengthy probably, and a lot more fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun watching this group all season long, and it'll be fun to watch them when they graduate to the older ranks as well. And in terms of the top pacing ranks in Canada, it's really going to get bolstered with the likes of a Desperate Man, who is a gelding, coming back to race. Powertrain will likely be in the same category, and there'll be horses that I'm sure will eye up events like the Confederation Cup when it returns for 4-year-olds, and things like the Camluck Classic here in the province, and maybe even beyond that into races like the Canadian Pacing Derby. Who knows? They've proven they can win the big ones like the NA Cup. Why not races like that? Give you a look at the parimutuel returns. Desperate Man let go at I think a pretty decent price, all things considered. $570 is your win ticket return on that one. And the exotic payouts, the exactor worth $940. The daily double $24.90, and a nice pick 3 coming back there. The 20 center at almost $180, and of course that payout greatly bolstered by the victory by Bob Law just a couple of races back. Desperate Man, the Pepsi North America Cup champion, adds a super final title to his resume. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll hear from the winning connections when we return.
It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown on Friday, October 29th and Saturday, October 30th. This year, the Breeders' Crown, presented by Lidfeld Cats Breeding Partnership, is at the Meadowlands Racetrack. This $6 million year-end series with 12 championship events takes place over 2 days. Friday night features the top 2-year-old trotters and pacers, post time at 6:20 p.m. Saturday afternoon has a post time of 12 noon, with 8 championship events, including 4 divisions for the world's best open trotters and pacers. Details at playmeadowlands.com and breederscrown.com.
Welcome back. You are watching coverage from Woodbine Mohawk Park of the Ontario Sire Stakes Superfinals for 2021, and we have come down to our final event of the night. We're going to be looking at 3-year-old filly trotters next, but before that, let's head over trackside and hear from the winning connections of Desperate Man's victory in the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace Final.
Desperate Man, the Pepsi North America Cup champion, adds a super final title to his credit as he captures this in sub 150. Trevor Henry back here for the Chiquines and the Davies. I mean, Trevor, these wins are so much fun, but especially, of course, when you can do it with good friends like this.
Yeah, for sure. It's like hometown horse. It's great.
Talk about the trip. I mean, it's a short field. You had to think there was a good possibility you'd have to be first over, but just talk about how it played out for you.
Yeah, like I kind of left a bit. I didn't know. Jody kind of floated out of there, and thank God Jody rushed the issue a bit, else we would have been at a half real slow. We weren't going much, and that helped a lot. It opened the race up a bit. I knew I'd probably be first up, but I didn't care as long as there was enough pace in front of me.
This is your 5th super final win, but all time in the Ontario Sire Stakes program, you're 5th for money. It's just been a big part of your career. We know your dad was a huge supporter of this, obviously. Just talk about what the program's meant to you.
Oh, it's a great program. I got started in it with my dad, and we raced a lot of horses and had success. And it more or less started my career. I got to drive some nice horses when I was young, and that's what it takes. You don't get noticed if you're driving horses that aren't in it, and it helped my career.
Well, I know the neighbors in Arthur right now know it's going to be a late night, so enjoy the party.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring in John. All right, John, this is fun. Kind of the same question I was talking with Trevor about. I mean, it's this day and age, it's tough to get families together, just for even a meal. You guys get to share this together. Just talk about what it's been like.
Well, he's an amazing horse, and, this horse should have been sold last year. For the money that was out there, he should have been sold, but Kathy wouldn't sell him, and he was a family horse, and here he is, and it all worked out.
Nearly $1 million later, it's awfully hard to sell him now, that's for sure.
Well, no.
What are the plans? I mean, are you thinking 62.5 to supplement for the Breeders' Crown, or no?
No, this horse will be hard-pressed to ever leave Canada.
Okay.
Where he's slated for a Saturday night horse, and if he can keep me out of the soup line, that's all we want.
I think he'll do just fine. Talk about the open house. There's an open house to go see him tomorrow, isn't there?
Yeah, everybody's welcome after 12 o'clock. I don't know when it's going to stop, but it's going to start at 12, and just bring your own body.
I might have to make a trip out there. Arthur's not too far from me.
For sure.
All right, John. Congratulations. Enjoy this with you and your family.
Great. Thanks, Chad.
Desperate Man gets it done. 149 in 3. A super final champion is this Pepsi North America Cup winner.
A wonderful story continues for Desperate Man, and you've got to feel good for the connections. They're enjoying the ride. They're soaking up every minute of it, and hey, they're hoping it continues. They're not thinking too big with the horse down the road. I think everything they make with the horse now, or everything he does from this point on, is gravy, and we look forward to seeing him on the racetrack for many more years to come, and we'll likely see them at, as mentioned earlier, probably at the O'Brien Awards. It'd be shocking if he's not a nominee in that 3-year-old colt category this year. We've got one more left to go tonight. It is the 3-year-old filly trot final, and we've got a field of 9 assembled for this $225,000 event. The points leader in the division, I'm Extra Special, and we'll give you a look at the point standings in this division over the course of the season. Again, I'm Extra Special led the way for Paul Walker. A bit of disappointment for Paul in that his big gun Pemberton didn't make it back this year. because of injury. So we hope that we'll see him back on the racetrack next season. But good news is this filly came back and was able to replicate the excellent 2-year-old campaign, and you could argue she's been even better this year.
Yeah, she's been consistent, that's for sure, Greg. You know, you earned $223,000 at 2, won 5 out of 10 of her starts, and over $270,000 made this season. 8 of those, 8 in the money, finished out of 11 starts with 4 victories, and I'm Extra Special really put together a nice campaign, but I think this is one of the more competitive races of the night. And HP Mama B, the 8, she was second in the standings with 175 points. I think she actually might be the one to beat. I'm surprised right now she opens off at 7-2 on the board.
You see, You Will Be Queen in the top 5 in points, and a win in the last gold final event was what vaulted her up into the top 4 in the standings. Prior to that, she really had been having a disappointing season relative to what we saw at age 2. Expectations were high this season. Hadn't been able to find the winner's circle until that last start, when she surprised at 43-1 with a 154-4 victory. So earlier this week, we took a trip to the Jones stable and found out more about the recent turnaround for You Will Be Queen.
Hi, I'm Dustin Jones. I'm training You Will Be Queen, racing in the Superfinal tonight.
And here's a live wire. You Will Be Queen on the far outside is closing a ton. You Will Be Queen, a 43-1 stunner in this gold for Jones.
With You Will Be Queen, I haven't really been satisfied up until her last race. We've had a lot of problems with her. She had an ulcer on her palate. She was flipping her palate. And we battled with her liver count also. She had a high liver, and when a horse has a high liver, they can't finish their miles. So with the high liver and the throat problems, it was sort of disappointing. And leading up into the Elegant Image, I thought she was at her best. And she just happened to make a break on Yannick, where she hadn't made a break in her as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And so when Tyler was driving, Tyler got his chance to drive her. So we thought that we were going for a check, a third. Third we would have been happy with, and then she threw in that 27-second last quarter, which what we'd been expecting of her all year. So hopefully we're going into the race in really good form. Well, like I said before, I think the difference was it took her a while to get over her throat surgery, and we battled with her liver all year. So we'd been went to the health food store and got some milk thistle, and we were giving her lots of milk thistle, and everything just came around right at the right time. Well, I think it's quite an accomplishment to buy your fillies, race them, end up keeping them to breed, and when you get to the super final with them, it's pretty gratifying. I raise them, I train them, I drive some of them, I shoe them. So I think that's the definition of horsemanship, and I'm pretty proud of that.
A confident-sounding Dustin Jones, who co-owns and trains You Will Be Queen, son Tyler. Big opportunity for him in the driver's seat as we get a look at her on Post Parade. And yeah, Dustin, a really, really good horseman. He's developed and raced many top-level trotters over the years. And hats off to him for sticking with You Will Be Queen and getting her back and back in apparently good form, maybe at the right time here.
Yeah, the horse that, I thought she raced well, actually, August 25th at Grand River, finished second to HP Mama B on that occasion when Dustin was aboard, and but definitely nowhere near her effort last time. She was a going-away winner in 27 seconds flat when he handed the lines over to his son Tyler Jones, and I think that definitely in the right form right now for this super final, and 7-1 on the board right now. Not a terrible price on that one, to be honest.
Hawaii's a filly that's been getting better as the season has gone on. It hasn't translated into a win, but she's been facing some of the best. She's been racing in events like the Casual Breeze, in gold finals, and she's been trotting in the 54-55 range every week. Has $70,000 to earn the hard way. Just maybe needs a little bit of racing luck here. Gets a good post to work with, and Scott Zeron's going to take over the driving for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Rick Zeron handing the lines over to his son, and I know a lot of people that I talked to were all about this filly tonight. And it's showing right now because she's only 3-1 on the board and down from 10-1 in the morning line on one that really shouldn't be that low of a price. But I think that we think maybe it all comes together for Hawaii tonight with Scott and the bike.
Time to bring in our colleague Tony Elliott in one more time tonight as we get set for the last of our championship races. Tony, maybe just a thought overall on the night. Do you have a highlight from what you've seen so far?
I think the whole night's been pretty fantastic, but I think Bob Lala winning for Ken Middleton was pretty special, and then Destin Mann in the Glamour Boys division there was just as special. And like you guys mentioned, there's going to be a big party in Arthur today, so it should be a lot of fun for that. And congratulations to all the connections tonight. It's been a fantastic night.
Tony's got to drive back up to Zurich, Ontario, and who knows, that might take him through Arthur. You might be able to make a pit stop on the way and.
Party like that, you make a pit stop anywhere.
Just a thought maybe on this final race, Tony. You've got a good vantage point out there. You can see the horses scoring out. Who have you got your eye on here in the last?
I think 5-1 on I'm Extra Special is a little bit surprising here. It's raced well all year. It looks like has been a little bit weaker its last two starts, but it always shows up when there's a lot of money on the line, and unfortunately made a break in last year's Superfinals, so it's looking for a little bit of redemption here.
All right, thanks again, Tony. Great job tonight on the broadcast, and we're just moments away from wrapping things up here on Super Final Night 2021. And it has been a lot of fun, and we've seen some tremendous performances so far here this evening. We've also seen some horses come back and duplicate and win a second gold final, horses that won it too, that came back and did it again this year. Opportunity for that to happen in this 10th race.
Yeah, Dashing Muscle could get the job done with that designation. And interesting, the last two that we saw, Greg, were both bet down pretty heavily. This one, 17-1 on the board right now. And when you consider, you got a horse like Dashing Muscle and you got a driver like James McDonald on the bike, that's not a bad price. And for me, I would look at her as more of an underneath play in the race. But definitely some value right now, and I think that kind of comes with some others getting a little more support than was expected.
Yeah, I think if you were to identify the best price or most attractive price on the board right now, for me it is Dashing Muscle. The last effort was better. Like You Will Be Queen, who was in the same race, she closed well, had a little more finishing kick than we'd seen in recent starts, and looked more like the filly they would have expected coming into the year. Really, the campaign, I would say, has been a disappointment. She did win 3 of 7 last year and banked to $225,000, and still looking for the first win of the season, but showing that she's competitive last time out, and what a time it would be to break through for the first win. So ultimately, with just a few seconds left to go, who are you picking? Who's going to get it done in the finale?
I'm back on a favorite again, Greg. I thought HP Mama B has just been impressive all season long, and her only real defeat at the gold level came when she had the second tier here. Post 11's not an easy spot to race from, and I just think that her efforts against Ontario Company have been just incredible. So post 8 to work from, down to 6 to 5 now. All the late money coming in on HP Mama B, but I think she's clearly the one to beat.
And a good price on You Will Be Queen, despite that impressive off-the-pace win last time. We heard from Tyler Jones and Dustin Jones earlier tonight talking about her, feeling that the health issues that have been plaguing her have been, gotten under control. What they saw from her last time out kind of surprised them. It's what they expected to see all season long, and they're confident she's going to come back and do the same thing tonight or something close to it. Going to be a good one. It's our last super final event of the night with the starting gate rolling one more time. Let's go upstairs to Ken Middleton.
Various levels. Tonight we salute the best of the Gold Series in their super final championships. Even money on the 8 HP Mama B. What a year she's had, both last year and this season. 4 for 8 last year, 6 for 10 this year. Strong second in her latest after missing some time. Bayarjan and Filion and HP Mama B, the talk of the tote board here. Field set for a start. Off and trotting. Good start for Up and Ready down the center, firing outside HP Mama B. Way out wide there is Dicentra as McClure goes into chase mode with Dicentra, and that long shot finds the front. Back into second, Up and Ready. HP Mama B just lays parked out there from in third. In at the rail from in fourth, going into the turn is I'm Extra Special. We've got a pocket pop. Up and Ready is sweeping up and around Dicentra, so HP Mama B with cover to track now at a quarter of 28 and 3. I'm Extra Special, fourth inside. Hawaii's off the speed from back in fifth. Dashing Muscle, the sixth one back. Then You Will Be Queen into seventh. Meadowview Lily racing up from an eighth position. Further back we go to find Wee Jill. And HP Mama B on the outside is still parked out and looking for the top spot. Up and Ready will release her, but not before HP Mama B has seen the outside of the racetrack for almost the first half. She finds the front now, touching down on the lead just before the half as it's up in 57 and 2/5. Up and Ready second, Dicentra third. It's I'm Extra Special now, edging out of fourth, picking up the cover from in fifth is Hawaii. Then sixth inside is Meadowview Lily. Seventh stacked up is Dashing Muscle. Further back at the inside to Wee Jill. And You Will Be Queen would need to sweep from back in last. They're on their way to three quarters, chasing HP Mama B, leading it just over a length. Up and Ready second. I'm Extra Special third outside, but stalling. In at the rail from in fourth is Dicentra. Hawaii set to kick off cover fifth. Three quarters in 1:26 and 4, and it's HP Mama B coming into the stretch. Gets a slap of the wheel disc by Filion as pressure is coming. Up and Ready out of the pocket spot, driving for McNair. And here comes Up and Ready, sweeping to the lead. Up and Ready by HP Mama B back into second. All she can do is watch Up and Ready take off. And it's Up and Ready with a mild upset to cap off Superfinal night. She won by 6. Hawaii was second. A late driving You Will Be Queen was third in 1:55 and 1.
Up and Ready was certainly ready to compete tonight. Her best effort of the season, I think it's safe to say, and it was the perfect time for her to do it. The daughter of Cadabra leaving absolutely no doubt who the best was tonight. Wins it by some 10 or so at the end.
Oh yeah, just an easy victory for Up and Ready, and one that I kind of discounted in there. I'll be honest, and I think that's 1 for 12 on the year. She's been consistently there in the money and has raced well, but handled aggressively by Doug McNair tonight. He wanted to get to the lead, then let the favorite go. Sat a perfect trip in behind. And then when it came down to the stretch drive, was just too much for them. A real nice effort here for Up and Ready, and trainer John Bax having another good season, and a nice way for them to cap it off, winning the last super final of the year.
Mild disappointment for the back stable earlier tonight when Duly Resolved was beaten as the favorite, but some redemption here. Up and Ready has her finest hour of the season with this authoritative 155 and 1 victory. A victory that's going to put her right around the $300,000 mark in earnings on the season, and just shy of $500,000 now lifetime, as the great Cadabra has another stakes winning credit under his belt here in Up and Ready. And never better. So is this a sign? Is she showing us that late in the 3-year-old year that we could be looking for even bigger and better things beyond this campaign?
I think so. I mean, certainly one that you'd say is trending back in the right direction. She's kind of been an up and down type, and stepped up and raced really well on some occasions, but and other times kind of underwhelming efforts. But you look at this one here tonight, what a way to to cap off her OSS career, and camera shy really over the last couple seasons. Just 2 victories and 21 starts, but has hit the board many times, and now one that's when the chips are all down, gets the better of all of them.
And congratulating again John Bax, the winning trainer. Doug McNair with the winning steer. He handled the filly aggressively too. Really drove her with a lot of confidence, and that was justified when you saw the end result. The ownership group, very high profile group, includes Al Libfeld, Marvin and Lynn Katz, and Sam Goldband. And this is one that will, we're certainly not looking forward to seeing her end her racing career. We want to see her keep going and doing this, because who knows, we could be just scratching the surface. But down the road we'll be looking at a future member of the Broodmare band as well, with the pedigree she has and the talent that she's shown on the racetrack. And yeah, never better than tonight. Just a really eye-catching final quarter, especially the way she trotted away from very good fillies.
Yeah, that's a solid group too. That wasn't a situation where it was a top-heavy class of fillies. Trotted away from HP Mama B, who I thought was a standout all season and in this race, and she had no answers for Up and Ready in the stretch when she just opened up with ease and won by a wide margin. Hawaii, one that took a lot of support tonight, and many of my handicapping friends were all over. Turned in a good effort to be second. Just ran into a buzzsaw and Up and Ready tonight.
Absolutely. You Will Be Queen. The trip just didn't work out. She was no better than 10th, turning for home the way the flow developed or didn't develop, and but rallied and passed several horses to pick up third. So she definitely has shown in the last couple of starts that the You Will Be Queen we expected coming into the season is now back. It's unfortunate we're now late into the season, but they'll still be, I'm sure, very happy to see her end off the campaign on a more high note and adding a few dollars to the bankroll there as well. In terms of the parimutuel returns, get a look at the prices here. Up and Ready, mild upsetter, returns $10.80 for the victory. Exactor worth $62. 20-cent super at $120, and the pick 5, $2,600 and change. Let's hear now from winning driver Doug McNair.
It's filling a long time. Doug, what do you think of her?
She's been great all year. She just hasn't had the best trips, and things just haven't been working out just perfect for her. And tonight, we had a perfect post, and the trip set up just exactly the way we'd hoped it would, and she got real lucky, and she was real good in the stretch when she got out.
Talk about the early decision to move her.
Yeah, I figured Bob just wanted to float his and get position early, and he did. And when we come back around, Sylvan, he had one of the ones I wanted to follow, so I was real happy to follow him, and just worked out real great.
How does this cap off your night for you?
Oh, it actually really caps my year off. It's great to win one of these races. They're hard to be involved in, let alone win one. So I was gonna have to steal one of James' hats earlier, so I got my own now. So.
When you're a big part of your dad's success, I just want to quickly ask you. He wrapped up his 5th Johnston Cup title. He's done so well in this program, but you've been a big part of that for him.
Yeah, he works hard all day long. He can work twice as hard as me. It doesn't take him much to do that, but he works all morning and all afternoon. I don't even know how he has time for a nap. So it's kudos to him. He's had a lot of nice horses and a lot of good staff, and it's real proud for him.
Nice job, Dougie.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, John, we'll bring in Mr. Bax here as the pictures are done. You had some young fellas in the winner's circle here with you, too. Grandchildren?
Yeah, the grandson and granddaughter were here, so they're all fired up. So, yeah, it's kind of nice.
Good. You're not as fired up. You're a little more tempered here.
It's getting late for an old guy like me,
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about this filly, because she's been a little bit camera shy, but she's always there. She always seems to just get a good piece of these golds. But then tonight, what a way to cap off her career.
Yeah, it's, tribute to the job Matt's done with her all year, and I'm real happy for the owners, because they invest a lot of money in her, and, like you say, she's camera shy, and just looking for a trip, and Doug give her the trip tonight that she likes. She's got that one go at her, and she's been getting naturally better, this fall. And I don't know if it's to do with the weather or not, but she was super sharp tonight.
She was super sharp. She's Breeders' Crown eligible. Is that the game plan with her, or you got to talk to Marvin and them?
I'll have to talk to them, because it wasn't. We got the SBOA coming up, and so it wasn't in the game plan, but I'll let them make that decision.
What about Duly Resolved? Is he heading to Jersey next week?
Yeah, we had planned on going with him, and if his blood shows up good on Monday, and we'll likely, Matt will take him down.
Well, congratulations on this win. Another strong season, and all the best in the future, John.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, John Bax up and ready. Caps off super final night here 2021 at Woodbine Mohawk Park with a victory in this OSS Gold.
Well, congratulations again, John Bax. Good night at the office for that camp. And decision time. Breeders' Crown eligible. And boy, when you win with that kind of authority, it's got to be tempting in a couple of weeks to certainly think about it.
Yeah, I think so. That was a pretty authoritative victory, and she looked fantastic in the late stages of that mile. So if they're ever going to take a crack at the Breeders' Crown, I think they've got the horse to do it with right now.
Congratulations to all of our winners tonight, and a real showcase for the Ontario breeding program here this evening. And we also had our prize giveaway, and the winner, drum roll please, is Grace Britton. Congratulations to Grace Britton winning that Ontario Sire Stakes prize package. Wonderful prize, includes all kinds of OSS swag, and Grace wins our online contest for that. So Grace, please message us on our Facebook page, and we'll arrange mailing details for that. And tune in to our Facebook page as well. Later tonight or tomorrow, we'll be announcing the two winners of those autographed driver colors. Trevor Henry, who won the super final again tonight with Desperate Man, and Bob McClure, both sets of that for everybody who was able to comment tonight. You were automatically entered for that, and we will post the winners online. So Robert, that will cap off tonight's festivities, caps off another season here on COSA-TV. It's been a lot of fun. Any takeaways from tonight that are going to stick out with you?
Oh, really, I can't not go to Bob Loblaw. I mean, Ken Middleton and that race call, and the outpouring of emotion, and a friend and a colleague getting it done, and really the biggest long shot of the night by a mile at 37-1. And I think we saw just a fantastic night of racing, though. We saw some of the the dominant ones get the job done, and we saw a few surprises here and there. And honestly, I just thank you to COSA-TV, for having me out this season, because it's been just been a fantastic time, getting to do the interviews and sit next to you, Greg.
All right. Well, it's been great having you. From our colleague Mark McKelvey, who is not with us tonight. We want to thank him, Tony Elliott, for helping out. We've had Ashley McDonald in recent weeks as well. So it's been a lot of fun, and having you tuning in all season long, we certainly appreciate it. And that will do it for the 2021 season. Again, stay tuned to our social media channels for all of the latest content weekly, and we'll have those prize winners coming up as well. So long from Woodbine Mohawk Park for the 2021 championship season.